What happens to you is not sufficiently important to justify the wrong you're doing. They're fools.
Hello, chat room. It's a special Sunday. 3 Linux action shows left. And to do it right, to do it in style, Noah and I thought, you know what would be best? Let's do them in person. So we're going to do the next 3 Linux action shows live in studio together. What's up, chat room? You can say hi, Noah.
Hi, how's it going?
There you go.
I didn't know
your
my
mic's on.
microphone was
Your mic is in
I
fact on.
didn't know if that would be awkward if I started talking into a box and then like they couldn't hear me. And
It's
it would be
spyware.
Yeah.
like, yep.
Yeah. Great show today. Couple of rigs in front of us you may notice. You may or may not notice.
Huge show.
Look how the branding's covered up by the lower third.
It's clever. Very clever.
How cool is this song? It's like a Donkey Kong underwater. Isn't that neat?
That seems like
like it.
a total change of topic. I don't follow you at all. So happy hacking.
I tell you what, the best way to get into this music is to watch him do this stuff as he's producing.
Oh my
it.
gosh, dude. It's so crazy seeing that. He's so crazy talented.
And what's irritating, what's very frustrating for me is that he'll just sit down and say, I'm going to do X.
Hi,
and then he'll just do
YouTube.
X.
And I'm just going to do a little thing real quick. And it's like this next, it's like,
Hello, YouTubes.
yeah. Hello, YouTube. Yeah, he's the best. So do you have your other one?
The other Dell.
Oh, you didn't bring the Lenovo. That'd be a great prop for
Which
this.
one?
So when we get to that,
I have 3.
So I think we'll do the news first, and then when we get to the part about the Lenoves, we should pull up the model so we can show pictures of it and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I have 3. I could have brought one. I could have given you one. I could have
Damn.
taken one.
Now I
could've
only
had
have so
one
much
with
beer to spill, Noah. So. Hey-oh. Yeah. Oh, hey! Congratulations, Army. You know, I live streamed the birth of one of my kids, and I think Rikai was witness to it.
Right.
So
Inadvertently.
yeah. Well, actually, what happened was the guys they were doing Legend of the Stone Owl. No, what was it? What was that? Northwest Goofballs. They just left and left the mics on.
Oops.
Oh, you have tape. You don't trust Linux.
I what?
You don't trust Linux.
What are you talking about?
The tape over your webcam says you don't
Oh,
trust
yeah.
Linux.
Is that really? Would you?
So,
You?
do you see any tape over any of my webcams? First of all,
All right.
Let's
Tear it off.
Tear it
off.
what are you really worried about them seeing? I mean, like, if they want to look, they can look. First of all. Second of all, they'd have to compromise Linux to get access to that webcam, and I don't know. I'm not worried about it.
Tape is gone.
If I ran Windows, dude, or a Mac, probably seriously consider it.
Tape is gone.
Especially, on Mac and Windows, especially, I would. And I think on one of the like Snowden leaks or CIA leaks, like one of the agencies has like an ability to turn on some of the iSight webcams without activating the power light.
Right. Yeah. That's what I. So this is not my mute. You have my mute?
Yours is. You want your mute?
Yeah, well, I'll just,
That's fine. I'll give you your mute. That's
Okay,
fine.
all right.
Yeah, you can mute yourself. There you go. It's
all
right there.
There we go. Now I can shut myself up when I want to. Okay. Good.
Yeah. In fact, I'll try to ride mine when you're talking. So we have
Do you
better.
bleed? Do you bleed?
Yeah. Well, these are turned up pretty high because I usually have them just for one person, so I have them turned up. Either I either have me just here, or when there's another person in the studio, they're over there.
Yeah.
And so there's not really the issue.
Oh,
But when they're right next to each other, it actually doesn't sound too bad.
I can eat it too. I can
So start talking.
test 1 2 3 4. Check 1 2 3 4.
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
1 2 3. Now mute yours. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3. I'd almost say there's no difference.
Yeah, I agree.
That's good.
So here's the thing, and Kits and Kitty says in the chat room, he says, well, there's a light, but there are ways that they can override that light.
Yeah, at least in the iSight firmware, they have a way to reflash the firmware that controls the iSight web camera and then disable the light. Because the light, like some webcams, it depends on their wire. Like some, like when the CCD receives power, the light receives power, but not necessarily on the iSight. And it's not universally all MacBooks. I think I hear a buzz when I talk. You hear that? My power cord must be going over something. Do you hear that when I talk a little bit? There's a bit of a whine in the background and then when my gate shuts down, it goes away.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. It's hard. These headphones are not the best for.
Oh yeah, these are better than those. Going into battery conservation mode right here.
Already?
Well, you remember what happened to me yesterday.
Yeah. Well, can we plug that in?
I'm already hearing buzz. It says 2 hours remaining.
Maybe we'll make it.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, you know what? What's the worst that could happen if you're hosting a show and the computer you're using shuts off in the middle of it? I mean,
Yeah.
Really, what's the
It'll
worst that
add
could
some
happen?
tension to the show. It'll add some tension. I'm hearing that buzz.
Rising tides, Chris. Rising tides.
So I'm gonna mute you for a second. Where's you at? Chris levels check 1 2. Yeah, it's still there. Chris levels check 1 2. It's not there on your mic, so mine must just be going over something. I'll check it after the main segment.
You probably screwed up.
Strengths, it probably all gets lost on the live stream.
Yeah.
And on the encoding. The MP3 encoding cuts off highs and lows.
And we have better ears than you do. That's
Well, we're hearing uncompressed audio.
That's true.
So when it's loud for you, it's really loud for us.
What happens to you is not sufficiently important to justify the wrong you're doing.
Can you place this noise now?
Is it a Star Trek thing?
You weren't around Sarah much when she was watching Star Trek.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's a very common surface. Hello, T3. Hello.
You know what she said to me the other day? She said we were sitting chatting, and she goes, "I'm really depressed watching Star Trek because I feel like Star Trek has pretty accurately probably nailed some things that are going to be in the future, but it's like 200 years away, and I will never get to see them. And like now, I feel like there's this whole world outside of Earth that I'll never get to see." I'm like, yeah.
Well, still, it's an optimistic vision of the future, which is nice.
And then we had this huge debate on if we'll ever leave our solar system in our lifetime. See, because I think in the next 10 years, trips to the moon are going to be like
Could be.
a vacation thing.
Sure.
I think.
Or at least to like some space station or like, you know, a weekend orbit or something.
Right.
Wouldn't a weekend orbit be nice?
I think that's going to be a thing. There's a guy, a Russian cosmonaut and a
Yeah, his name's Mark
astronaut-
Shuttleworth. No, I just kidding.
and a U.S. astronaut just got sent up to the the United States Space Station. I think yesterday. Took him 3 days to get there. So I'm like, I feel like that could be a thing. Like, you know, you get on this thing, you go for 3 days, you go up, circle, check out what's up there, and come back down.
Yeah. So we have a little shot mixture problem there. A little bit of a.
Earth won't live longer than 20 years.
No problems with double clicks. You use a ton of these, don't you know? This Logitech trackball.
Yeah. No, there's.
Do you have any problems?
Believe me,
with clicks?
if there was a problem with this mouse, I would know. The only
You
thing
got any
is,
click problems? No, you got any click
here's
problems?
the only click problem I've ever had. After about, I think the oldest one I have is like 10 years old or 15 years old, and the right click, I spilt some Coke on it, and so it doesn't. The right click kind of.
How many stories do you have that start with "I spilt some Coke on it"? Because you drink.
Can we expand that to spill something on it?
Well, I would think. I mean, I would actually think just Coke alone, you'd probably have a ton of stories of stuff because you drink a lot of Coke. I'm surprised you don't have a
Beer.
Coke. Do you want to go get a Coke before we start?
Milk. Yeah, I do want to go get a Coke.
Yeah, I would
before
think so. Maybe you can spill it on this XPS.
That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Just don't spill it on this. I don't have $10,000 to repair. I got 99 problems, and spilling Coke ain't one of them.
Hello, everybody.
What's that?
It doesn't work like that. You can't say ain't one of them. It has to be just ain't one. Then you have to stop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, is that-
smelling Coke ain't one?
is that how it works?
That's how it works.
Boy, I'm really glad you told me, because otherwise that's would have kept saying it the wrong
Why
way.
don't you pay me the big bucks for?
That was close. That was close.
I have an open Coke.
I feel like normally what I would do if you weren't here is I'd need to go to the bathroom or get a cup of water.
Yeah, and you have to fart, and then
Yeah.
you have to stand around. Then you put the camera on me and say, "No, entertain the live stream," and then you'd be gone. Then I would be.
No,
then
I
I'd-
can still do that.
Yeah, but
Here, no, entertain the live
It won't be
stream.
the same because see, what I would do is I'd be talking to them, and then I would do this thing like I would end my sentences with like something that you could jump in if you wanted to, and then when you didn't, I'd continue on to the next one. It's very awkward. Much easier when you're here in studio.
Hello, Mr. Drum. It's nice to see you. Good to see you again. I don't suppose there's any chance we'll see you at Linux Fest this year.
Of course, there's a chance he's going to see us at Linux Fest. If he changed the D and the R,
Eardrum?
yeah,
That's why I call him Eardrum.
yeah, but his name is Adram.
Yeah. The problem is something short circuits in my brain when I read. Like I skip.
Like the operating system that you really like,
What is the operating system?
and Targos.
Oh. That's a distribution. Linux is the operating system, and the GNU use.
See, I was thinking Linux
What
was
you
the
are
kernel.
confusing as a distribution is actually a combination of GNU/Linux, userland tools, and the Linux kernel.
I see.
So
Sorry.
It's not a.
GNU slash
Really,
Linux.
Mr. Drum? Imacon's gonna make it. I didn't know that. That's news to That's new information to me. Did you know Imacon was gonna make it to Imacon?
I didn't, but I knew that he was in the area because I met him at LinuxCon.
Yeah. He's in the Spokane area. Were you ever able to set up a fingerprint reader like this on?
Mm-hmm.
So under Ubuntu, where do you do it? Because I'm trying to figure out.
You have to. There's a thing you have to install.
Oh crap!
And it's a hold on.
Ah,
We're
crap.
gonna do it right.
Well, you know, Solus hates packages.
I'd be able to get this on a bunch.
What's it called? You remember what it's called?
I'm about to find out for you.
Damn it.
It's called.
This looks like a really legitimate fingerprint reader. Like it's
IP69 spec
government
certified for
approved
military.
for
Yeah, exactly.
President Trump.
Right.
President Trump approved.
Right.
Okay.
You know, okay. Here we go. You need.
See, when I search for fingerprint, it doesn't. Nothing shows up.
Shocking. Okay. You need fingerprint-GUI.
Damn it. Yeah, I don't think that's in the Solus repos.
Okay. So I'm going.
I have
to-
Chroma print, but I don't have fingerprint. Damn it.
No comment.
Okay,
Okay.
dude, your damn face. Well, of course it's out there for Ubuntu.
Yeah.
It's probably in the Arch repo
let's
too.
see. We're gonna update.
Ooh, a new driver.
And we're gonna install. Did you know that Trump uses a Telos Zephyr?
For what?
I don't know.
Doesn't surprise me. It's nice equipment.
Here.
If I had money, I'd get it too. Does he use ISDN for something? Does he like do something? What the hell would they use a Zephyr for?
I have no idea. I just know that he has one in his office
How do you know this?
because I found a picture of it.
Which office?
His office, like not the White House office. His
I
office.
bet you it's because he goes on the radio enough that they just equipped him with one.
Probably.
Because that's a pretty common radio station.
There you go.
Yeah, you're right.
So look at that in the back. Like he's
Yeah.
got a little microphone stand. He's got
Yeah.
a little speaker, and then he's got. a little
He's
bit-
calling into radio shows frequently enough.
Yeah.
He was on Savage during the campaign all the time.
Oh really?
Yeah. And he went on Alex Jones a bunch, and so he went on a bunch of, and then he started going on Hannity.
Again, this is one of those things where like everyone's gonna make fun of me 'cause I
F print.
didn't
All right,
know
I'll search for
something.
F print too. What?
I didn't really know who Alex Jones was.
Why don't you watch Unfiltered, dude? What's the matter?
Well, I mean,
with you?
I knew that I've heard
Nah,
the
it's
clips you
F
play,
print's not in there. F print's
but
not
I didn't
in
know that was his name.
there. Alex Jones. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
nobody really did actually. Most people didn't know about him until the media started talking about his child custody case.
What's driving me crazy is that photo right there. Zoom in on that. It's one of those cops in a black uniform with a mustache. And you just look like an absolute clown freak that works for murdering terrorists that jack our food and water. I think you're a big joke. Oh, you got a mustache. I'll just worship you. As long as you got a mustache, it's okay. Nothing against mustaches.
I'm not going to dignify that with an answer.
What? Okay, so here, so after I've installed it, then what do I do? Now you can have fun unlocking your screen, sudoing other things. With
You don't have a fingerprint reader, dude.
Yeah, I do. Oh,
You're so funny. You're so funny, dude.
that's not cool. I thought.
Yeah, no,
thought this had
no. I'm the one with the fingerprint reader.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's on that one. You know what it was?
Ironically, you're the one with the distro that has the software, but not the fingerprint reader, and I'm on the distro that has
the software,
doesn't
but
have
you
the software,
hardware.
but I have the hardware.
I there was one on the ThinkPad. I think that's why I was thinking
Yeah.
there was one right here.
You know, so if you guys haven't figured out, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of laptops today, so that's why the
Yeah.
details kind of blur together.
Yeah,
We're going to be comparing a whole range of Linux laptops.
Sadly.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a sick twist to it.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. It's a Swick Tips. We know how you love the drama.
Rising tides. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I'm just about ready.
All right.
I mean, I guess you could keep chatting on Telegram. That's probably fine.
Sweet.
Hey, is that the 7 or is that the 6?
It's the 6. You want to play?
Is it
with
USB-C or is it?
No, it's regular. USB.
Yeah, man, you should go to the C.
But do you know how much I love this phone? It's like my favorite phone ever. I love it. Works great.
Oh well, then keep it.
No, I'll probably get the S8.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty nice phone.
It has
design-wise.
it has SD. This one doesn't have SD. I want SD.
How do you feel about them dropping the physical button, though? 'Cause
I'm
I
not
gotta say
happy
that's
about that at all.
That's the thing I like about the Samsung.
I'm not happy about that at all. I pull my phone out of my pocket and I use it to index
Yeah.
which side is up. 'Cause
Yeah, me too. Me too.
How do you know? And you know,
And
my,
then you can. Then once you have it, you can swivel it. You can flip it around.
and, you know, one thing I notice is that I'm guessing if there's no physical button, then the fingerprint reader's on the back.
Yeah, by the camera.
I don't like that either.
Yeah.
I like the thumb. Here's the
You
thing.
know
I
why?
have small hands.
Well, here's the other thing.
You know what they say about people with small
it's-
hands, right? It's hard to reach the fingerprint reader in
It's
the
true,
back.
they
of the
do say
big
that.
phone.
Well, here's the other. So it's nice when you're holding it like this. So you know, if you got like, if you have this hand stance, because like if you're browsing the Play Store and your finger's already on the fingerprint reader and it's just boom authenticated. You didn't
Right.
have to like enter your password.
Right, but
if you ever have it in a car mount, ever,
yeah, not
go
only
screw
that,
yourself.
not-
You gotta
not
take
only
it out of the
that,
mount to use the
like,
fingerprint
if I
reader.
put my finger here, right, my little short stubby hand, like how do I
You just have BB hands. You just have little BB hands.
exactly?
Yeah.
Like I can't.
You got BB hands.
Like I try and get around like this, and then I can't.
Yeah.
I can reach maybe like Jesus, like 30% of the screen. Like I don't like it. It's no good.
I would like to know how they store the fingerprints and authenticate them on the Samsungs, because there's a pretty in-depth explanation of how iOS does it.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not really. Are you worried about like, people, like,
enclave.
are you are you worried about people?
Enclave.
Is that IP?
Secure Enclave IP. Yeah, I'm sure it's IP. Sure, it's
Are you
patented
worried about
IP.
people like stealing your fingerprints?
Well, I'm not, but people in the chat room right now are talking about it.
Yeah. See, here's why I don't care. I have concealed carry permits in 3 different states. The entire world has my fingerprints.
How much work does it take to get in 3 different states?
Well, Utah is easy because you just take the test and send it in as long as you have one in your home state. North Dakota's a 10 question
So you
open
can
book
island
test.
hop. You get it in North Dakota, and then
Right.
you can island hop to Utah. And
Right.
then once you have it in Utah, you parlay that into.
Minnesota because they canceled.
There you go, ladies and
They canceled
gentlemen.
reciprocity with North Dakota. So,
There you go.
or with Utah. So then my North Dakota was no good.
So what would it take to get one in Washington?
I think it's a shall issue state, so I don't think it's much. I think you go take a class and sign a piece of paper and put your fingerprints
there
on.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So I see you got your Quasel core set up.
I do. Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I can go back to chatting on Telegram though.
Do
too.
you see a record light? See, is this going to be any better with OBS from across? Oh,
Yes.
we're going to have it over here, so it's going to be
No,
completely
that's number
fixed.
1. Here's the other thing too that you're really gonna like. The streaming and the recording have text, and so when
Yeah,
it goes
I noticed that.
it
Yeah.
expands out.
Yeah. You know what? It's good that we're going to move it over here. It's good because how often do you see me VNC in? And it's like it's a really good VNC. I don't know if that could do as good. If just having it right here is even better though.
Right. No, I agree.
Is YouTube not on? Oh.
YouTube's.
Hello,
YouTubes.
Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTubes. Mr. Rika, did you forget to Satcom? Did you forget?
Rika.
I don't think it'd break it if I did it again. If you did, I don't think it would. I don't think it'd break it if I do it.
What's the worst that could happen?
It'd start twice.
That would be awesome.
System deal handle that,
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
and I'll start _show.
I wonder
last
if
year.
I have permission to start YouTube.
Probably. Oh, it is on. Never
There
mind.
you go.
It's just the chat room trolling us.
Oh.
Rikai's got it. Rikai's got it. Man, I am looking forward to hanging out with some Alan Jude. He'll be coming out soon.
I know. I have to look. Let me see what day it is. He sent me a thing because I'm grabbing him from the Porto Aero. Flight arrive. Oh, Thursday. I was hoping it would be earlier than that.
All right, YouTube is online.
All right, YouTube is on. There.
Oh! Oh!
All right.
Oh! Okay, you ready?
Well, hold on a second. I just
Could you quit screwing around, dude? I mean,
Telegram stuff. Looking at the weather in Grand Forks.
yeah, sure. Check out that.
Oh, and Airdrum here. Airdrum sent me a message.
do you want to start like a hangout or anything for me?
That would be actually really great.
That would
yeah.
actually be kind of cool.
It'd be pretty cool.
It would be cool to do a hangout.
UPenn has been on for like 15 minutes.
How long is your battery going to last? And is it fully charged
I don't
ATM?
know. Yeah, ATM. Yeah.
So are you
92%.
telling me that if you go up to the battery thing and click it,
It's 92%. What?
does it give you a
Yeah, I could do time.
6 hours? Does it say it said 6
Yeah, but
hours?
You can't trust that. You got to go by percentage, dude.
Yeah, what's your percentage?
92%.
I'm at 85 since we've just been sitting here.
Well, I'm better than you.
Damn it.
I don't have the power that you have. At least when you choose to turn it on.
Install the driver, you mean?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It is the Linux Action Show episode.
Hold on. I need to get my show notes up. Okay, now you can go.
466. Aha, and it begins right now. Map, 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 map. In a 3. In a 2. Welcome to the Linux Action Show episode 466. My name is Chris.
My name is Noah.
Well, hello there, Mr. In Studio Noah. It's good to see you. In fact, it's going to be great. We have 3 episodes, counting this episode, left of the Linux Action Show, and Noah will be hanging out in studio all three. Well, actually, one of them is going to be at Linux Fest. So
That's
it'll
right.
be in studio and live at Linux Fest. We have a great show coming up. If you're watching the video feed, you've already noticed there's some hardware sitting in front of us. We have a tale of laptop woes and laptop wins this week. It's a bit of a treacherous path, but we'll walk you down what's gone on, and we'll walk you through the hardware sitting in front of us right now. It's a pretty interesting story, and I can't wait to give you some of the things that we tried. Also, we're going to talk about the larger context of Canonical ending Unity. There is a human aspect to it that we've talked a little bit about in the past, but now we've got some possible numbers. We've had some big shifts and a few theories about where all of this is going. So we'll talk about that coming up in the news, as well as some big features that I'm really excited about coming to the next version of the stable Linux kernel, as well as a few other little tidbits from the news. Then we'll get to the feedback and picks. But Noah, do you know what we're going to start with right here, now?
Not the pigs?
Nope, the news.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start with the news. We've been trying out different formats as we wrap up the show, and I think people have been liking a little warm-up with the news.
Okay.
And I think there's probably a few things to cover that are worth diving into this week. There's maybe a few other things going on that we'll come up with if we have time. But I want to start...
my objection to starting with the news is I don't get to say the news. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I could say the news.
Yeah, I agree. Do you want to just say the news
That would...
Okay, go.
The news.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can start.
Good.
Okay,
all right.
great.
Okay. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's going on at Canonical. Of course, what do we really know? Not much, because the folks who work for Canonical have been extremely tight-lipped this entire time. They're not really sharing any details. So we just know either what people have shared with the press or what people have dug up. But this is coming from the Register, and it writes that more than 80 workers at Canonical could be facing layoffs. And Mark Shuttleworth has taken back the role of the CEO. These are major changes. So Jane Sibler, I believe, has been running it for about the last 7 years. Mm-hmm. She's going to join the board of directors, so she'll still be around, but Mark will be taking over the day-to-day operation in the CEO role. It looks like 31 more staffers have left presently, with 26 others on formal notice. I mean, these are some very specific numbers that the Register seems to have here. I don't know how valid these numbers actually are. Boy, when you look at this, though, a couple of things that jump out at me as a really rough aspect of like the human side of this. In the UK, there's a process that you go through where you notify everyone at the staff of the intentions of the company, and you notify them that there will be layoffs. And once you start that process, you have to notify them. So there's sort of like this swinging axe like hanging over everyone's head while they just go about their business for like the next month to find out if they're one of the folks that get laid off.
Right.
Like I like it in some sense because, here in the States, especially in Washington where it's a right to work state, you could just one day find out you've lost your job. You're out of here. See you later. Thanks for working for us, depending on the employment arrangement. Yeah.
But at least there was no torture leading up to that. Yeah,
I'm not sure which is better. I'm honestly not sure which is better, but from a human side, this is just awful. And if you think about it, if they had a lot of folks working on the Unity 8 and the mobile stuff, and you're no longer doing that, like you could probably find a spot for some of those people. But the vast majority are going to have to go.
Well, and if you think about it, though, so what are those numbers again? You said 30 and 30, basically? 26?
So 30 have already been let go,
right.
I think is what the number. Let me, I'll reread it for you. So 31 staffers have already left, and 26 others are on formal notice.
Okay, so that's we're talking about roughly 60. So that's a little under 10% of their employment base.
Yeah.
And I think, weren't early projections as high as 30%?
I wouldn't be surprised though if that's just what's happened so far. Because the way the rest of the article is stated here is it looks like there's a process.
That's what I mean. That's where I'm going. I think they're high. I think their initial estimates where they would do head cuts as high as 30%, and that's only 10. So I think this is just the beginning, which is kind of a it's a sad state of affairs.
I've been spending a lot of my time thinking about the story about how crazy this is going to be for GNOME. Like this is so many people will be working on GNOME now. And the other thing that struck me about this last night while I was just running this over again for like the 100th time in my head is now if you want to contribute to the Canonical desktop, to Ubuntu's desktop, you don't have to worry about the contributors agreement. The contributor because you could just go upstream to GNOME now. If you're working on something for the desktop. Also, that huge problem for contributing to the desktop could be gone now. That's a big deal.
And honestly, I think that will largely help them because there was a lot of people, I think, that withheld contributions to Unity-specific things because of that contributor agreement. So
Yeah.
I think overall I think that will work out very well for them.
Now, the other thing I was kind of chewing on is this to me seems sort of like, well, if you keep history in mind, if you keep Mark's history in mind, he made his fortune by selling thwart, right? So he's not opposed to selling something that he's built up and created.
Yes.
So if you just run down the numbers. So they bring in a consulting firm to do sort of an audit of Canonical. They look at everything and they tell them the bad news that everybody already knew but didn't want to admit. You've got a lot of redundancies here. You're focusing on mobile. It's an uphill battle. You're going up against Android. Meanwhile, you're winning big on cloud, and you have hardware vendors today interested in your IoT solutions.
Right.
You really should be focusing on this, not focusing so much on the phone and on convergence. Everybody knew that. Nobody wants to admit it.
Yes.
So this professional company comes in. I've been there before when you bring in the outside firm to come in and do these kind of recommendations.
Right.
And it always leads to layoffs and changes. So they come in, they deliver the bad news everybody knows. Mark says, okay, I'm taking back over the CEO role. Jane, thank you so much for your hard work for the past 7 years. She steps into the board, and Mark says, here's the other thing we're going to do. We're going to follow the recommendations of this firm, and we're going to clean up house. We're going to trim up the portfolio, make things look nice and tight. We're going to focus on the things that make us money, the things the industry knows makes us money, and we're going to keep our toe in the desktop water, but we're going to significantly de-invest in the desktop. We're not going to roll our own desktop. We're not going to create our own solutions for that. We're just going to ship upstream like we used to when we were a smaller, tighter staff with less resources, so that way that takes less from us. And the only reason I can really think to do that is either he's completely given up on Linux on the desktop, or he's making a calculated move to try to reduce the liability and amount of work that takes so they're more attractive to a buyer.
Right.
Because you could easily sell to an Amazon, a Microsoft, a lot of different, a Dell, a lot of different companies if you're targeting Internet of Things and the cloud, because everybody wants a piece.
Right.
That's how you get in cloud, you get money right now. Everybody wants it on that, and storage and IoT. That's why I think Dell would be a great.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, to me, I don't know how to interpret this any other way, because you look at it, it looks like Mark is tidying house to make it more attractive for a purchase.
Yeah, and I don't know and he was specifically asked about that. Mark specifically was asked, why are you making these changes? And he said it was just an experiment. It's an exercise to become more attractive to buyers. But the question is, why would you practice that exercise unless you actually wanted to be attractive to buyers? And I think right now we are at a time when, you mentioned Microsoft, that might make a lot of sense for them, because
You think?
so they have
It also seems like it could. Well, I mean, back in the day, it would have backfired huge.
yeah,
Maybe not today.
I don't know. They're desperate to get a hold of that developer market and to bring those people back from the Mac onto Windows. And as what you're seeing is, as Apple continually screws up, those people are not going back to Windows. They're actually going further towards Ubuntu.
I don't think they give two shits about the desktop market at all. I think it's all about the fact that Ubuntu ate their lunch on servers.
I think that's a long lost battle. I don't think that's coming back anytime
Yeah,
soon.
but you buy Canonical, and all of a sudden, overnight, you're back in the game.
Yeah, and the interesting thing from that perspective is, if Microsoft does that, they position themselves instantaneously to sell support for $1,000 a server, $2,000 a server, and people gladly pay that. I mean, I would probably look into the cost effectiveness of buying support from Microsoft for Canonical servers if they owned it.
If I'm Microsoft and I look at the purchasing price of Canonical, I say to myself, that's worth the licensing cost of just being able to ship Ubuntu in Windows VMs.
Yeah.
That's worth us just being able to have anything we want Ubuntu Azure. So I could see it definitely, but I would not see them very interested in the desktop market. I would see them essentially say, well, we'll let the community continue to respin our server release if they want, but we're not even going to bother repackaging GNOME upstream. I think if Microsoft bought them, if Dell bought them, Dell would still ship laptops and hardware.
See, I think I think I can agree to a point, but if you think about it, if that was the case, if they had no interest in pulling in that desktop market, why work on getting Ubuntu into Bash? I think they're interested in pulling some. I think there's a market there, and I think they're interested in pulling some of those people back, and I think that might be a way for them to do it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, because there is definite appeal to running on your desktop, which you run on your server, and Microsoft knows that better than anybody because they exploited that with NT to get on.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, okay, maybe so. Either way, it seems like that could be a possibility. What's happening is House is getting tidied up and getting ready to be sold. Because I'll give you this too. Like, what made me think about this was, Shuttleworth didn't get into Ubuntu and didn't start Canonical to take over the cloud.
Right.
He wanted to package and ship up a usable, nice GNOME-based Debian desktop
Yes.
for human beings.
Right.
And then he wanted to get into mobile and convergence, again, another consumer-facing technology
Right.
to disrupt desktop-type usage.
Yes.
I feel like their success in the cloud is definitely because of some strategic moves and partnerships that they've made and decisions. But also, in part, it's because they just made a really great Debian with a timely 6-month release cycle.
Right.
And then they came out with an LTS version, and it took off like wildfire on the server. And I don't mean to be insulting when I say this, but in some senses, Canonical fell backwards into success with the server. Now, I don't mean
Yeah,
to diminish
I
when
agree.
but they made, they obviously made moves to position themselves too. But
Right.
it's sort of like they had success on the server despite the mobile efforts, despite the desktop efforts. What really took off was VPSs became a thing.
Yes.
And when VPSs became a thing, Ubuntu just exploded. And that success is not what seems to have ever gotten Mark all that excited. It was the desktop, and then it
Right.
was disrupting mobile.
Yeah.
And the cloud was like this way that they were financing those initiatives.
Right.
And so now that they're refocusing the entire company on cloud, and I guess maybe he's passionate about IoT, but all this stuff. While Mark's very smart and he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's got a good scope on the market, and he's very aware of the competitive landscape, it never seems to be his personal drive. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was positioning it for selling. So he gets it all leaned up, he gets it competitive for that market, and then he sells it. That could be his MO.
Which I'm happy about, because really he has the best interest of his users in mind, not big companies that are faceless companies that are deploying this stuff. He cares about the people like you and I who want to run this stuff, and are other people who are passionate about Linux and Ubuntu. So I think really I prefer somebody like Mark Shuttleworth in charge of the project, and I think that we'd be worse off if a Microsoft or a whoever bought them out.
Because if long as they didn't screw with the basic formula, you could still have your Ubuntu Mate's, your elementary OSs,
Yeah,
your
that's true.
Ubuntu's, your KDE Neons, like those all could still exist if Microsoft didn't ship an official desktop flavor.
Yeah, that's true. And I think they would. I don't think they would kill it.
They'd probably just do GNOME 3.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
that's all right. Well, we've got a lot more to get into, including another Ubuntu story and the kernel feature. I swear to God, I've been waiting for like 3 years for finally landing. But first, I want to thank Ting. Go to last.ting.com. That'll save $25 off a device if you don't have one. And if you do have one, CDMA or GSM, you get $25 in service credit. Now, that's sweet, because this gives you an idea of what a value Ting is. Your average monthly bill is $23. Because it's just pay for what you use wireless. Minutes, messages, and megabytes. Ting adds them all up, whatever bucket you fall into, that's what you pay. Plus, it's $6 for the line and Uncle Sam's taxes. Each line, $6. If you're a small business, this is a crazy great way to get connectivity for your team. And one of the really nice things about Ting is there's no contracts, there's no agreements, no service plans. You just pay for what you want and then you turn it off. When we have people that come in for Linux Fest Northwest, it's not a big deal for Jupiter Broadcasting to light up a couple extra lines for 1 month. I love it. So nice from a business standpoint and also from a family standpoint. Last.ting.com. Go there, enjoy the benefits of excellent customer service. Instead of digging holes in the ground and fighting local laws and building towers, Ting's been able to invest in an incredible customer service infrastructure that works right there in their office, and they have an incredible dashboard. And this is such a nice thing for somebody like me, because the only time I have time to take care of my cellular plan stuff is like at 10 o'clock at night when everybody's gone to bed and I don't want to call anybody. I just want to log in and use a great dashboard that just makes it simple, that isn't trying to hide, isn't trying to upsell. That's why I really appreciate Ting. And if I ever do get stuck, like the one time I was on my way over to Noah's and my MiFi went out on me, Ting just went above and beyond. I see people tweet me like pictures of postcards that Ting customer service reps send them afterwards and stuff.
They sent me a nice little like a little bag kind of a thing the last time I bought a phone from them, and it was like I actually use that bag for a lot of different things now. It sounds like a silly thing, but it's actually kind of cool.
That's nice, dude. So you know what? If you want to get a bag, go to last.ting.com and grab a device. Also, while you're there, if you're not ready to switch to Ting, but you just want to learn a little bit about maybe speeding up your phone and cleaning things up, a little spring cleaning for your smartphone, they got articles on that for Internet Phone and for Android on the Ting blog. Just do me a favor and start by going to last.ting.com. And thanks to Ting for sponsoring the Linux Action Show. All right, so we have some Ubuntu news. We have a little more Ubuntu news, and then we'll move on. So we have 17.10 release date. Looks like it's going to be October-ish, October 19th if all goes as planned. Artful Aardvark is the name. That's not what matters, though. This is actually going to be the first release to ship with GNOME. It will not be the LTS.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Smart move.
I agree. Sometime not in an LTS where you can work out some of the bugs. You don't want to make a major change in an LTS.
I also don't know why, but I feel like this gives them more room to ship an LTS that isn't just stock GNOME. Mm-hmm. As a big GNOME fan, I'll say this: stock GNOME is. There's just no way. There's no way you can ship stock GNOME. Not with the Adwadia theme. Not with no extensions installed. I just don't see Ubuntu doing that. So if they do 17.10 and they can do their stock GNOME like everybody said, and then they can watch all of the feedback and see all the little things people tweaked, all the little things people changed, they can take the most average, basic stuff from that, the most easy to support stuff from all of that, condense it down, and ship it in the LTS release. And that, I think, will be the sweet spot. And that's my prediction of what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really great idea for them to ship it in 17.10. And the other thing is, I'm excited to see what Ubuntu GNOME can offer once it has the full backing of Canonical behind it.
Yeah, and that many more users looking at bugs, and that many more users creating themes. Like, you're already seeing way more themes in the last few months. In fact, also, OMG Ubuntu totally stepping up to the plate since this Unity news. Joey's busting it over there, writing a ton of good stuff. It's like, so let's take a look at this. So I'm just at the OMG site right here. Besides the typical news stuff that he has, he's got a whole bunch of stuff like, if you're coming to GNOME for the first time, because you're hearing all this news, and you want to try these things out, he's got this great flat fork of the ambience theme for GNOME right here.
Nice.
He's got this article on making Qt apps feel at home on GNOME. He's got the coverage of the KDE fans that are trying to get Canonical to ship Plasma instead. And look at this. I mean, he's posting a couple times a day right now, like 3 posts on Friday. I mean, Joey is hustling over there at OMG Ubuntu since this news, and I've been finding it a really great resource.
Yeah, that's really great, especially for people that maybe have they downloaded Ubuntu and they just kind of stuck with Unity, and so the concept of GNOME, what is this GNOME? What is changing? What is going on?
Yeah. And OMG Ubuntu is a great outlet to cover all that stuff. And if you think about it, it's going to be way more stuff for OMG Ubuntu in a sense, because you have the entire GNOME community worth of stuff now.
Right.
All right. So this is the feature I've been waiting for a while. Don't make fun of me. It really makes a difference. I know a lot of you have made fun of me before when I've talked about this, but the BFQ IO scheduler is queued for Linux 4.12. BFQ has been in development for years now. It's the budget fair queuing IO scheduler. So this is the little bit of Linux code in there that manages the priority and IO disk queue. So you can actually, under Linux, change the IO scheduler on the fly. And by default, Linux ships with the completely fair scheduler. Pretty great. It's fine. I actually don't think it's a scheduler designed in the SSD age. Now, this is my personal opinion. I'm not saying that's actually the truth. My personal opinion is, if you've ever noticed, like, you launch Chrome and you launch the terminal, and sometimes something's a little stuttery or things take a little bit longer to load than they maybe did under Windows, that, in my opinion, is the completely fair scheduler. Because when I switch out to BFQ, totally different performance for application loads. You won't have a huge, all of a sudden disk I/O completely slow down X. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, especially if you're on Spinning Rust. You really notice it on Spinning Rust, where a lot of disk I/O can just lock up the UI, like even just like maximizing a window.
Or closing a program that you know is causing the lockup.
Yeah, BFQ resolves a lot of that the way it handles disk I/O scheduling. In fact, I'm not the only one that thinks this. Manjaro's been shipping it as the default I/O scheduler now for like a couple of years. And a lot of people switch it out. So BF Scheduler has been in the works for a while. So I've tried it on and off. It won't be the default scheduler, but it'll be really easy to turn it on. There's also a couple other schedules, NOOP and Deadline Scheduler. I know I'm getting in the weeds here with this, but I find it to be really fascinating. And I even did a little breakdown of why I like it, if you're curious. So the BFQ scheduler has a low latency scheduler, which is great for interactive applications. So basically anything in X. It has low latency, soft real-time application support. It has higher speed for like things that do a lot of little file access, like building an application. So if you build things from the AUR or you're a developer, it supports higher throughput disks. I think better. This is my opinion again. Than the completely fair. And it has something that I'm not familiar with, but sounds fascinating: delayed bandwidth guarantees. So like if you're willing to, hey bro, I know what you need is not urgent, so if you can hang on for 5 milliseconds, I'll hook you up with a full bandwidth access. And it's like, I don't exactly understand how it works, but I find it to be fascinating. That part of it. That's the one part I was like, that's over my head, but geez, that sounds genius. Anyways, coming soon to a Linux kernel near you, version 4.12 won't be default, but but at least be baked in, because right now you've had to patch or like go get a special kernel from the AUR or use a distro like Manjaro. It hasn't been just, and Noah, just personal note, the first time I ever tried it was on Fedora.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's that's the nice thing about using those bleeding edge distributions with remarkable stability is you can try out these new features and not have them blow up on you.
Are you trying to trigger me right now? You know what triggers me? Triggers me with happiness, the All Good Things t-shirt. So a lot of you asked. We're finally doing it. We should have done it sooner, but for a couple of more days, you can go to teespring.com/allgoodthings and get a commemorative last t-shirt, a special one-time going away logo edition. Tux looking very dapper with his beard, and the 11-year runtime stamped at the bottom of the logo. T-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts. Grab them while they're still available. I think it's on sale until May 8th.
Oh, nice. So you could get them at Linux Fest then.
You might be able to. You might be able. I've actually
May
there
7th,
was
so.
well, there was a batch that I don't know if you'll get them that soon. It depends on when Teespring ships
Right.
them.
No, I mean you could order them if you came to Linux
Yes.
Fest and let's say you're living under a rock for the last month.
Well, look
and
at
you came
Turth here. Turth already got. I can't quite see the beard there, but Turth there in the chat room.
Nice.
He already got his. He was in the first batch. That beard looks great. I don't know. We should have thought why it took the Linux Action Show 11 years to figure out that a beard should be on Tux. I can't explain that. But now that it's happened, I feel like this is how Tux has to look.
There you go.
You can't shave the
The world is now complete.
yeah, that's at
Zen.
teespring.com/allgoodthings for a few more days. Multiple colors. No, you so often do black. You should do like a blue, maybe a purple. What about a red?
No, I'm not doing a purple.
What about red?
I have red. I might have a red. I have a red. My last 200 sweatshirt or whatever.
I would think somebody from Grand Forks too. You'd wear hoodies.
No, I don't wear hoodies. They're not very professional,
Yeah,
I could do if you did polos. I do a polo, but I do it like a zip up.
If
jacket.
Teespring did polos, I would do it.
Yeah.
I agree.
do
Zephyr,
a
every now and then they do zip up jackets, but it's kind of sad because this is going to be like the last swag. This is like, it's like the last thing we're ever doing. So there won't be an opportunity for us to do a polo. This is kind of it.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of sad.
It's too bad we couldn't have thought of a T word to go after Linux Action Show.
For last?
Yeah.
What about? I got nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. Tuberculosis is a horrible idea. It's a
Every
horrible
time I
idea.
hear that, I think of that. Never mind.
What?
It's a YouTube video, but I did the calculation on how long it would take me to explain that story, and then realized it's probably not appropriate.
Abort while you still can. Abort while you still can.
But I'll show you afterwards.
Oh, all right. Yeah. All right. So teespring.com/allgoodthings if you'd like to see that, and also check out Linux Unplugged. We'll have some more news coverage in Tuesday's episode of the Linux Unplugged program. But it's time for us to tell you the story of woes and wins with our laptops this week.
Doop. Segment 1 complete. Okay, now I got to show you something.
Apparently, I made a furry reference and I didn't even realize it.
What? Did you know Telegram's owned by furries?
I thought it was owned by Russians.
Nope, furries. I have a.
I'm out.
I have a lot of friends that are furries, and so I am in with the fur.
Out of all the kinky stuff in the world, that's the one I have the hardest time.
See, they would say it's not kinky. They would say that here's what a furry would tell you. A furry would tell you that you've not thought this through all the way because they put on these very, very expensive suits. They're like upwards of $1,000.
Yeah, I understand they don't want to get jizz all over their suits.
Right.
I grok that.
And they also don't want to cut holes in them. And on top of all that, they're very, very hot. Like simply standing in a suit leads to exhaustion sometimes if you're not drinking enough water. So the idea that people just dress up and have sex in fursuits is somewhat silly.
No, I'd say they get themselves all turned on and then they take the suits off and have crazy animal sex.
See, there you go. Okay, let's see if this is right. I gotta unmute my laptop to see if this is the right one.
I think Linux Academy has their own show now.
It's hot.
Yeah, it is hot. You're right.
I like it.
That is hot.
I would watch it.
God, that's hot. Jeez, you're right. Now I can't stop thinking about how hot that is. No, it's crazy hot.
Okay, here we go.
Just crazy
So I'm
hot.
gonna send this to you. I hate the fact that if you open anything in Telegram, though, it breaks your... Oh, you know what I could do? I'll post it in the chat room.
You know what I hate?
Huh.
Your vagina mouth. That's what I hate.
Hot. I love that. I love it. Okay, there. Now it's in the chat room.
Boo, boo, boo,
That's
boo,
what I
boo.
think of every time I think of tuberculosis.
Do, do, do.
I think of that.
Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do.
Oh, my.
It's a lot. This, it's too long, Noah. It's too long.
Galoshes.
It's too long, Noah.
Bulbous bouffant blubber
It's too long,
blubber.
Noah. It's too long.
Bulbous bouffant blubber.
All right, so now what we need is...
Look at that, dude. Look at how pathetic that is. That's my front yard right now.
Hey, happy April.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I need... What's the... So it's a Lenovo...
X270.
X270.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
12.5 incher, huh?
Yeah. This is all the communication I've had from Lenovo trying to get this resolved.
Oh my God.
I know. It's
How did
pathetic.
you even... How do you find time to do that?
I get mad. I get more and more upset and angry, and then I'm like, here's the thing. You'll make a perfect laptop. I just want you to ship me thus perfect laptop, and I can explain to you in 30 seconds what I need. I need a 1080p display. I want 16 gigs of RAM. I want a backlit keyboard. I want the fingerprint reader. I want the smart card reader, and I want the 512 NVMe drive. Now ship me that laptop. And somehow, that's just not a thing that they do.
Yeah, well, I think they're a horrible company myself.
Apparently, who knew?
That is the most unattractive. Is the laptop more attractive than that? Because this is the most unattractive product shot I think I've ever seen on a manufacturer's website.
No, it's about what it looks like. It's not built to be pretty. It's built to be functional, and it is that.
Yeah, and it's built for Windows 10 too. It looks.
Yeah, but it ran Linux out of the box flawlessly. It went out of the dock. How'd that happen?
And then this is the what? The Dimension
That's the Precision
Precision.
F5520.
No,
7520.
7220.
I don't know.
Damn it.
Hot. Didn't see.
It is. Survey says the Precision 7720. What did I say?
7720. See, that's what I told you.
What did I say? Oh, I said 7220.
You were like somewhere down in the fours.
It's this laptop that my microphone's picking up.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's no good. We'll just shove it right into the mic stand. That'll help.
Yeah, I thought so. 7720. 7720.
What were we talking? Were we talking about furries? How are we talking about furries?
I made some reference, probably that I was completely unaware of even.
Oh yeah. Oh, people are asking in the chat room what a furries is.
Well, they can go Google it. We don't need to be the Google for them.
Yeah, that's true.
XPS 13.
That's true.
Do 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 do.
Did you know that a furry has been on the Linux Action Show?
Mm-hmm.
You did. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I remember, help me try to remember. I want to mention, do an update about Linux Action News
Okay.
in the feedback. In the
Feedback? Okay, that's great. I like it.
What?
The animation.
Do you?
No. I think explainer videos are overdone.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
You want to do explainer video? No, because you think they're overdone. How? That makes no sense.
What?
He says the new last logo is a furry reference. I
think everything could be. You could also say it's an Illuminati reference. It's a gay reference. I mean, whatever bias you're looking for, you can find. You could probably find like a triangle between our shoulders and the mountains too, if you want.
Actually, hey, there is a triangle. Like if you go right here, see? If you go-
Dude, it's an Illuminati
No, no, no.
background.
If you go right here,
Yeah.
then you go like,
Yeah.
oops.
Triangle, dude.
God, this is difficult.
There's two triangles
And
there,
then we go
dude. There's
this
two
way.
triangles.
There we go.
Oh my God, one big triangle too, bro.
Yeah. It's
Oh my
triangles and
God,
triangles.
this show is ending because of the Illuminati.
We heard you like triangles, so we put triangles inside your triangles. Yo, dog. Google Red Rocket and furry.
All right,
Strikes me
all
as a
right,
Bad idea.
all right. Here we go.
1 second.
I was going to not get down this path here.
Yeah, I know, but
So they like to pose with red rockets, and that's our problem for some reason.
apparently.
Does kind of look like a furry rocket.
I don't know.
Noah,
Jeez, I'm sorry.
we're not in your studio. You
I
can't just do that.
apologize. I'm sorry. In my studio, I have mute buttons. Sounds kind of cool, right?
It does. It's the gate.
Oh. now you undid me.
Richard's telegramming you.
Of all people, right?
Well,
Remind-
he's probably thinking of all people, Noah should know to mute his ass. That's probably what he's thinking.
He knows better. He knows. Plug the RSS HD thing.
Oh, okay. When should I do that? In the feedback?
Feedback.
Okay, remind me in the feedback.
Okay.
We're going to HD on the RSS feeds, guys.
Okay. Remind
So-
us in the feedback.
Go screw yourself.
And remind us in the feedback.
All
All right, laptop pose.
Yeah, although I was wondering if I want to grab a couple of props real quick.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I'm going to
Oh my
grab.
gosh.
Sure. I'm going to grab some props.
Okay, you go grab some toys.
Sure.
Grab some toys to play with. Oh, I'm getting yelled at by Rikai again. Getting yelled at by Rikai. Good thing I telegram you all the time. You're reminded to mute your S. Right. That's actually a good point. If you didn't telegram me, why does it echo? It sounds echoey in here. Echo, echo, echo. I don't like it. Dooba doo doo doop doo. Okay, now what? Now what? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Do do do. Do do do. Do do. Where's my shot? That's not my shot. Is that my shot? I don't understand. I feel like I should have a shot here somewhere. Oh, there we go. I found myself. Hi. Hi. Oh, he's coming back now. I have to stop playing. Oh.
There's a lot of laptops in here right now.
I know. Let me see. What'd you bring down? Oh, jeez. Really, dude? Really? What? Can't believe you're doing that to me. What? We have 3 episodes left, and I have managed to avoid appearing on screen with that nonsense. And now 3 episodes left. You're gonna do this to me?
Save it for the show, bro. This is all content.
I didn't. Did I say what it was? Did I say what it was? You think they know what it is?
Bro.
Jesus. How many laptops, like within arm's reach? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 between the two of us. In fairness, we don't own all of these, so there's that. And I brought, I shipped Pelican cases full of equipment here. Like multiple Pelican cases.
There's a lot of laptops in here, huh?
8, I think is what I
8
counted.
laptops,
1, 2,
yeah.
3, 4, 5,
You know what
6,
that's called?
7,
That's
8.
called a wide base of opinion.
Yeah, well, it's, yeah.
Okay, let's play a little usability marketing game.
Okay.
Okay, Noah. So
All right.
the current version of OpenSUSE Leap is version 42 something, right?
Okay.
Current version of OpenSUSE Leap is 42.x. What do you suppose the next version number of OpenSUSE Leap will be, Noah? So if the current version is 42, Noah, what will the next version?
Okay, hold on. 42. Carry the 1. 43?
No, that makes too much sense. It'll be 15.
What?
Yes.
Didn't they already have a 15?
No, actually, that's why it's going to be 15. and also to be in sync with the
Just out of
enterprise
curiosity,
product.
they have something going on with Microsoft?
No, it's based on the
3,
no, it's because it's
95,
not, it's,
98,
it's up.
2000.
It's the enterprise. The enterprise
7,
version is upstream. The enterprise version is the upstream that they're basing it off of. It's like, and that's going to be version 15. So, and since they've never had an OpenSUSE 15, basically it was available. You know, hey girl, we've dated on and off for the last 20 years, and you've never gotten married. I've never gotten married. What do you think about finally hooking up?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Mr.
Yeah.
Obama?
You know,
President
he's
Obama?
coming back. His vacation just ended.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Well, he didn't want to be in the house while Valerie was moving in. So,
Dude, are you telling me he's been on vacation since January 20th?
yeah, check it out. Check it out. Obama just here. Look, I'll Google it right here. Obama back. Dude, what would you do? Think about
Yes,
it.
when I got done running the country. for
Vacation over. Obama returns to public life next week. Oh, so he's back next week, which is this week,
Wow.
which is tomorrow. He's looking forward to getting back to work, though.
Work. He's out of a job.
No. The job just got started, and that's getting Trump out of the office.
Oh, I see.
No. Hey.
There you go. You hear about Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah, dude. I didn't like him anyway.
Yeah, I didn't
Here's the thing about Bill O'Reilly.
Guys,
There's a lot of
blowhard.
Right. There's a lot of guys in conservative media I really respect. He's not one of them. Him and Michael Moore are like the exact same person. They're just on opposite ends of the political spectrum, right? Like he would
I
go
bet
on
Michael Moore isn't as much of a
dick in person.
no. Well, I
He
bet
can
he's
sit in a room with another female without.
yeah,
being-
exactly. I bet he's a huge dick, but I bet he's not like a sex offender kind of.
So you think about this from Bill O'Reilly, right? Like one of the only time I've listened to very few things of his program, but one of the things he got me on just right off the bat, first thing I heard him say is he's like, you can't go see a movie in this country without having an ID, and people are mad about voter ID. I'm like, okay, all right, let's back up for a second. If you live in a major city, because any small city doesn't give a crap, and you appear to be under the age of 18, and you want to see a rated R movie, then you'll be asked for ID.
Yeah.
If any one of those three things aren't true, then you're not going to be asked. You don't need an ID to watch a movie. What the heck is he talking
there's a
about?
war on Christmas.
Yeah, There's a war on Christmas, right? I don't like Bill O'Reilly. I'm glad he got fired. But you know what's funny? I was really proud of myself. I was talking to my mother about this, and she goes, yeah, well, now no one's going to hire him because he can't sit in a room with a female. And I'm like, nah, that's not true. He could like do podcasts.
Yeah, he's
or
gonna
something.
be.
So then she goes, what's that? And I'm like, Lass. And I kid you not, dude. I kid you not. She asked me, she goes, is Lass a podcast? I'm like, yes, Lass is a podcast.
A lot of people wonder that.
Well, so
Is it a show? Is it a podcast?
So-
is it a TV show?
then he announces like 48 hours later that he's starting a podcast. I'm like, see, told you. He can do it from his house. He doesn't have to be any women in
it's
there.
so genius, dude, because he also had radio experience, so he knows how to do audio shows. He can have a tight little staff. He can be a dictator over his,
Right.
he can just be his
Not
whatever.
hire any women.
And maybe he'll say some interesting stuff now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing.
And he's got a core following of people that,
He's got something. He's good. There is a type of observation analysis that Bill O'Reilly is good at. Like it at first seems like surface level stuff, but it's the surface level stuff that like really matters, that changes perceptions. So I don't know. It'd be curious. I would be willing to check in to see what he's saying, see if there's anything I can grab from Unfilter. But
Because the no spin zone stops right here as I spin everything.
don't even. All right. So where do you want to start with this?
I guess I start with the story of my
Lenovo?
laptop hunt. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was during that fiasco that we wound up with
Yeah.
these.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, actually. Okay, here we go. It is the laptop segment, and it begins right here, right now. I think it's recording in a 3, in a 2. We have an interesting tale of laptops. In fact, the two laptops sitting in front of us, if you would have asked us 2 weeks ago if we would ever even seen these laptops, we would have said no. No, it was deep down in the process and muck that we'll get to in just a moment, and I was lost in the woods. I'm looking over at a graveyard. We'll get more into this graveyard as we go into the show. There's a lot to cover here, and then I'm going to give you the results after I've been using this $10,000 Dell laptop for a couple of weeks. A $10,000 Dell laptop with unbelievable specs. I'll tell you about all of that too. First, I want to thank Linux Academy for sponsoring this week's episode of the Linux Action Show. You can support the show. There's no promo code required. You just go to linuxacademy.com/unplugged. Somebody was in the subreddit just last night saying, what's the promo code? You go to linuxacademy.com/unplugged. You can sign up for a free 7-day trial and support the show. It's a platform to learn about Linux, and not just like the itty bitty things like firewalling and the file system and partitioning, all of it, the entire stack, and even the big like corporate stuff that really makes you the money, that really boosts your resume, like OpenStack and Azure and AWS, all of these services now that are built around Linux that the enterprise really uses. They have team accounts if you want to work in a group, and they're really active on social media as well. And the reason why I mention this is if you're following them on twitter.com/LinuxAcademyCom, you'll find out that they're launching a new show called Ask Linux Academy. So if you have questions, like a Q&A type stuff, they're going to have that. That's really cool. They have a lot of in-house talent, including in-house instructors that will answer real questions and all that stuff.
Did you know, Chris, if you were to go to JupiterBroadcasting.com, click on the shows, choose your preferred show.
Probably ask Noah. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, this actually, in this particular example, that won't work.
Damn it.
Pick your chosen show. Did you know that all of the sponsors and their associated promo codes are listed there right under the show?
In the show notes?
In the
Noah?
show notes. So
In the
if
show
anyone
notes?
ever has a
that's
question,
why,
that question never comes up again for any show, except
Yeah.
Ask Noah, because you don't have a sponsor at the moment. Any other show, though, all the sponsor codes will be listed right there.
That's true. LinuxAcademy.com/unplugged. The reason why it's unplugged is, I don't know if you've ever seen Mission Impossible, but they totally stole this idea from what happened. That's where Tom Cruise got the inspiration.
Was from Unplugged?
Yeah, well,
Oh, really?
you see that hole right there in the studio ceiling?
Yeah. Oh, I
So-
thought that was with the deaf children.
No. That was when we first moved in. I got them out of here. I came down in here. Wes was sitting right there doing Linux Unplugged. Boom, knocked him cold with my
That's
back
good.
of my elbow.
Especially if you do it at the front of it so it doesn't like bruise your elbow.
No, I did this part. It
Oh,
hurt.
that didn't get the funny bone.
It hurt like a son of a
I
gun,
bet
dude.
it did.
And then I grabbed the Unplugged promo code, went up, and I brought it over to Linux Action Show because honestly, it's such a great resource for the Linux community. It's such a great way to learn more about Linux. It's a great deal, and the company rocks. Like, they started it because they want to spread the word about Linux. They're Linux advocates themselves. So a 7-day free trial and supporting the show, you can't go wrong at linuxacademy.com/unplugged.
But you had to beat up one of your co-hosts. Did you get that?
Well, I mean, that's how you get these things from one show to the other.
I see.
It's not with emails and business deals. It's by coming through roofs and using ropes and.
Now, just tell me this: did you at least go, head first, like you were held up by your feet when you came through?
Well, it was actually more of like around my crotch, and then it slipped out, and it was just really the sack for a while, dude, and that hurt. That hurt, man. But I was really dedicated. I was really super dedicated to the audience, and so.
How do you come up with this stuff?
And it just, the thing is, it's a stretchy material, so that's it worked out pretty good. And then I was able to just sort of think about something sort of like Pamela Anderson, and it scrunched back up, and it just pulled me right back up.
No, here's what you did. You came to North Dakota and hung out with me for a week, and I was on whoop.
And while I was there, I watched your crazy, crazy drama of trying to get a laptop. Now, as somebody who's bought a few, I guess you just decided it's time to get rid of the Skylake garbage, got rid of all your Skylake stuff, and then decided I should probably get a laptop now that I don't have any computers. And it didn't go so well.
So it's funny. I never used to buy new laptops. I bought every laptop I owned, including the last ThinkPad I had off of eBay. And then you guys remember a couple months ago I bought the 260, and I decided, well, I'm going to buy this one brand new. And it was a great experience. Everything worked out great. I was happy with it. And yes, I decided to upgrade off of Skylake onto Kaby Lake.
Kaby Lake, yeah.
Kaby Lake.
Kaby Lake.
So when I decided I was going to upgrade, I went to this process. Now, the thing is, I ordered the day these computers came out. As soon as Lenovo announced that they were available to order, and I was in Japan at the time with my wife on my anniversary, and so I'm literally sitting there, and I had swore off any sort of technology, okay? And I told her, I said, I'm not going to do any technology, I'm not going to do any work,
Except for
I got a message from somebody said this computer came out. I said, sweetie, you got to give me 10 minutes. I just got to order this real quick.
were you checking Telegram, Noah?
No, yeah, I was kind of on Telegram, but so is she, so it was okay.
Oh, okay.
So I ordered this computer, and what it was it was $1,600, and what you got for that was 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 512 NVMe drive, 1080p IPS display, a backlit keyboard, fingerprint reader, smart card, a wired Ethernet port, a Type-C charger and dock connector, 3 additional USB ports, and a traditional set-style dock. In addition, 2 batteries. So I got a 9-cell battery off the back, 6-cell battery in the front.
No LTE, though.
And LTE card, yeah.
Whoa! For
So,
how much?
$1,600. So I was very excited to see what this
1080p screen?
1080p IPS, yeah. So I ordered the computer, and of course, despite Lenovo selling a bunch of computers in the United States, apparently we can't have any of them here. So they build it in China because
That's where the labor's cheap.
that's apparently. So they build it, and then they ship it from China, which, of course, that can't go anything reasonable. So it's like 3.5 weeks later, my laptop arrives. Pull it out of the box. I'm halfway through filming a review about it, and I notice the backlight on the keyboard isn't working.
What was the processor? Sorry, real quick. Was it i5, i7?
i7.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
okay. All right.
7 series.
The only thing this is missing is dedicated graphics, but you don't care about that. So
So yeah.
So the backlight, that seems like that's kind of a big deal because you probably use it in the dark a lot.
I mean,
actually.
really, it was more of like the thing that's not what I ordered. So okay, fine. Contact Lenovo, which is like, and I contact Lenovo and I said I want you to replace this computer. And this is where it started to go awry because the lady that answers the customer service says, "Sir, I can't help you with that. Maybe you don't know how to use the backlight keyboard." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. See, it's just function spacebar, and like there would be an icon for the backlight, and there's no backlight. Like it." The keyboard isn't backlit. It's very simple. And she's like, yeah, maybe you don't.
Can you be honest with me? At this point, do you bust out the, lady, I own an IT company?
No, I didn't. I didn't because usually I find I get better service if I act stupid than if I try to. So anyway, so I told her, I'm like, listen, there's no backlit keyboard. It's very simple. I can show you pictures. The one that has backlit keyboard has an icon that says backlit keyboard. This one doesn't. So it doesn't. She goes, sir, I'm going to need you to contact technical support and get a support ticket. So she transferred for me to the.
So they sell 2 SKUs, one with backlight and one without, and she still doesn't believe you. It's possible you got the one without.
Right. Even though right on the box it says keyboard English, not keyboard English backlit. Anyway, I get to technical support. That guy was really cool. I explained to him what's going on, and he's like, oh, well, hit function space. Does backlight come on? Nope. Okay. It's either defective or doesn't have one. So goes back. They're going to send me a second computer. So fast forward another 3.5 weeks, second computer shows up. Open it up, same problem. I do the whole thing all over again, and I told them, I said, I'm very upset. And they said, okay, well, we'll knock 15% off. Well, that's actually a significant amount of money out of a $1,600 computer. I'll take 15%. Sure, go ahead and send me another computer. So they
Meanwhile, you're using a $200 HP.
$200 HP I bought off of eBay, which has worked flawlessly. So during this time, during computer number 3, I go to Dell. And I'm at Dell, and of course everyone makes fun of me because I show up with this $200 HP. And
it was actually pretty hilarious because we're not just anywhere at Dell. We are in the cafeteria where there's a bunch of staff walking around, and they're kind of like, because it's not like a nice HP. I mean, it's okay.
It's not a nice HP.
It's a $200 HP computer.
It's an entry-level HP computer.
And we're at Dell.
And so people are kind of looking at me or whatever, and everyone's kind of taking a crack at it. And the reality is, like, the thing is, the pure funny thing is, since 2009, Altispeed has been a Dell partner. So we sell primarily Dell machines. It's not like I don't have any Dell machines, right? So, so the guy that's leading us there, Jared, goes, do you need me to get you a Dell? Well, I'm not turning down a computer. I'm like, yeah, I want you to get me a Dell. So he goes up to his office where he just has like stacks of these, and he's like, here, set this up for yourself. I'm like, oh, thanks. You can use it while you're here. I'm like, oh, that'd be great. So I'm setting up this. It was a Precision 53 something, 5020, 5320, something like that. So it looks like the XPS, except it's 15-inch and it's a Precision series. It has dedicated graphics. Very nice machine. 24 gigs of RAM, I later found out. So I take this thing, I set it up, I'm using it. It's great. And then we go to leave, and they said we could hang on to this little XPS 13.
Review unit I had a few weeks back.
So I had taken this, and very early on I realized that the 15-inch was not going to work for me. The dedicated graphics wasn't going well in Ubuntu Unity. It was getting this like ghosting thing.
Yeah, I had seen this. So like if he clicks on this, like the system bar menu, like for like shutdown or sleep or something, like you would have a white border outline that is slightly like it's like 5 pixels over from the menu box, and it's just this super bright like the box. Shadow gradient that should be there. If it was really long, it would, like if the color of it was inverted.
Right. Yeah. And so that happened after Suspend, so that wasn't really doing it for me. And then the 15-inch is a little too big for me, so I started moving more towards the 13-inch, and I thought, well, let's see, maybe I'll just cancel the Lenovo order, and I'll just stick with this. So I sent an email to the Lenovo rep, and I said, cancel my order. And I'm going to look elsewhere. And so I start looking seriously at this 13-inch. Now, there's a couple things that didn't work for me right off the bat. And again, I'm using 1604 with Unity. And the headphone jack doesn't work if I plug certain headphones in. I have one set of headphones that works with it. Everything else, it has that combo jack where it'll do a microphone, headset. And so when you plug it in, it pops up and asks you, is it a headphone or is it a headset? No matter what I choose, I'd say 90% of the things I plug into this don't work. And I have got around that by just using my Bluetooth headset, which is good enough.
So let me pause you right there for a second. So this here, he's been running the latest XPS 13, the one that we did a review of a couple of weeks back. It's got the i7 in it, and it's got USB-C, it's got USB 3. It's got about 5 hours, 6 hours of battery life, depending. It's got an SD card slot reader. It's a nice light laptop. I'm holding it right here if you're watching the video version. running Ubuntu right now. So this was, so instead of going from the Lenovo, you were trying this since you had it as a review unit.
Right, and I thought maybe I'll just buy myself one of these.
Now I got to ask you, there's a huge difference though between this one and the I think probably the number one feature in some ways of the X270, the Lenovo X270, is the Lenovo X270 has a full-fledged, honest-to-goodness, genuine, organically grown, locally sourced Ethernet port.
Yeah.
This does not have an Ethernet port.
It was fine the entire time I was at Dell. It was fine the entire trip home.
When you're on Wi-Fi.
Then I got to work, and I walked in. The first thing I did was I walk in. I didn't even think about it. I just had this in my backpack, and I walk into a client, and they said, XYZ. Okay, fine. I just got to reset up some VLANs. No problem. So I walk back there, and I go, oh yeah. How am I going to plug into that switch? Well, there's no corporate Wi-Fi. Okay, well, I'll run to Best Buy and get a USB dongle thingy for the Ethernet. No, they don't have them. Office specs? No, they don't have them. Okay, I could order one off of Amazon.
And they're a bit of a hit and miss. I've got a couple here. So I have this Anchor. It's a gigabit USB-C Ethernet adapter. And one of the things I like about it, and your mileage will vary depending on your motherboard, USB-C, so it's bus powered too. It has Ethernet gigabit, and it has 3 USB 3.0 ports. However, on some motherboards, when you hook up the Ethernet, the USB ports go out, or if you have Ethernet hooked up and you go to use USB, it disconnects the Ethernet. So it's really hit and miss with these adapters. So you'd be buying 3 or 4 adapters like I have trying to get it to work right.
Here's the other problem I really have. The other problem I really have, and I'm sorry if you guys are audio listeners, since starting the Ask Noah program, I'm more cognizant of that now. But this nonsense, okay, this is not going to be a daily thing.
The nonsense being that the dongle hangs another 3 feet off of your laptop, so you have this thing 3 feet away from your laptop.
And I'll tell you what, there's a limit to how much I can do this on camera, but like this flex,
it breaks.
Is going to snap off in 1 week of me using this every day. I mean, we do. So I'll give you an example. We're open from 10 to 6. Our service calls are 2 hours spaced. So that gives you an idea how many different places I've got to take my laptop, and pretty much every one of them I'm plugging it in. It's just not a practical solution for me.
Yeah. I'll tell you your problem. Unless you have more observations.
No, I had an issue with the trackpad too, but I can get to that in a second.
Yeah, I did not experience that issue. So your issue with the trackpad is,
for some reason, the touchpad gets to a point where it just thinks it's always depressed, and so it highlights everything or it scrolls. And the interesting thing is, if you just Google it, that is not a problem specific. That's not a Linux problem. That is a problem with the XPS 13 in general, because people experience the same thing on Windows.
I never have had that, and I've had 2 models of the XPS 13.
Yeah. So I don't know what the I don't know.
But I also very rarely use Unity. So I don't know.
Yeah. So and again, it's not a Unity specific thing because it works on Windows.
Okay.
Yeah. So but apparently it's not an issue on Arch.
So I think what you're running into here is all of these. This is my problem. And this is a problem that I have struggled with when I was in IT, just doing IT consulting. It's a problem now when I'm in media production. So right here in front of me, I have the Precision 17-inch. It's the Precision 7720. And Noah, can you tell the folks about the configuration of this machine just a little bit?
So this computer has 64 gigabytes of RAM. It has 16 gigs of onboard video memory, dedicated graphics memory for the NVIDIA card that's in here. It's a 10 series. Has a 4K display.
Yeah.
Has a true docking port on it, so he can actually connect a bunch of a bunch of different monitors and stuff. It's a really great machine. In fact, we actually
Did you mention the 3? So 2 NVMe's and then 1 dedicated SSD.
Right.
And it's in a spring-loaded breakaway, so you just pop the bottom off, and then there's a little button, a little latch, and the SSD pops up, and you just pull it out. So you could put a spinning disk in there, another SSD in there. It's great for projects. Xeon processor, ECC RAM, Quadro graphics, DisplayPort, HDMI out, lots of USB 3 buses, Thunderbolt 3.
It's a foldable desktop is what it is.
And here's what, so obviously this has Ethernet, right? So this is the other end of the spectrum of that XPS 13, and this is the point I wanted to make. So I've gone through a range of laptops. So here in front of me I have the Apollo from Entroware. It's a 13-inch laptop. Can you hold that for me? I've tried to make that work. In the other machine I have in front of me, oh gosh, it's big. Also big like this Precision. This here's the Bonobo, another huge laptop that I used at clients. I used in production. You can take that for me. And then I know it's a big laptop. And then the middle ground machine I've had now is this 2013 MacBook Pro, which I dual boot Final Cut OS and Antergos on here. And this has been nice because it's out of all of them, it's It's probably got the best. Yeah, you got it. I'm sorry. Here, I'll set it down. I'll just set it. Here, I'll set it over here.
I got it.
Just go. Yeah, not the garbage. Noah, don't put it in the garbage, Noah. Damn it. Now I'm gonna wipe that. I gotta wipe mustard off that now. And that's sort of in the middle, and that doesn't have Ethernet either. I have to tell you, I always end up having the most success just buckling down and saying, all right, self, just carry the big freaking laptop around. Just get a bag and just carry it around. I like having all of the power and resource. I like having it in a portable form factor. So when
Can you hold that up? Is that plugged into anything?
No, it's on battery. Here, in fact, I'll close the lid so we can.
So in true fairness, I mean that computer is probably 5 or 6 years newer than this one, but look at the difference in, I mean, and maybe it's hard. It doesn't show up on camera
What
as
is
much
it?
as it.
This is thinner.
Yeah, just
Well,
thinner
sure.
and just
Yeah, It's a nicely designed large machine. That's what I'll say about it. It's a really well designed large machine. Again, if you want to look it up online, it's the Precision 7720. And I like the removable battery. Here's what I end up getting. I get a machine that isn't just getting work done. I like all of the things about it. I like the removable drives.
Right.
That's great for project work. I like the built-in Ethernet on the back.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that it has a docking station. And I expected it to be fast. You know, for a $10,000 computer, I expected it to be pretty fast. I didn't expect it to be faster than my 6-core i7, which also has 64 gigs of RAM, which also has 2 NVMe drives and an SSD, which is all desktop components, including desktop graphics. I expected that to be faster, and this laptop running Solus GNOME Edition with the Impatience GNOME extension turned on, and all of the other choices that they've made, it is phenomenally fast. I can't even describe to you. And I tried, guys, for a couple of days.
You thought there was something wrong with it. It's so fast that you thought there was something wrong with it. You thought Chrome was crashing.
I installed Chrome, and when Chrome installed in half a second, I thought, oh, it failed to install. It was so fast. It was just set up. Everything loads fast. It's such a fast machine under Solus with the Solus GNOME Edition. It's so crazy fast. I could actually easily see replacing my main desktop with this. And I didn't think I'd say that about a laptop in a long time. And I think you should consider. I mean, I know this is so far on the other end of the spectrum, and you don't have to get 17 inches, but I think you should consider dropping the small and light thing and going for like a 5-year rig.
See, really what I want.
Because you end up burning through these things in 9 months, a year.
Yeah.
But this is a 5-year rig, dude.
What I would
Easy
really
for
like,
you.
what I would really like, and I was really disappointed that this didn't work out. But Dell used to make the Latitude specifically for what you're talking about. It was a mix between portable and light, and yet beefy enough that it had all of the features that you need, wired Ethernet ports, stuff like that, and you had enough horsepower behind it. And unfortunately, I can't find a 13-inch Latitude with a 1080p display, i7, and with more than 8 gigs of RAM. So, and I'm going to work with some of the people that we met at Dell to see if there's maybe something that I'm not finding, because the configuration things are kind of endless.
I'll tell you the bigger problem is there's no way I could really advise any average consumer or home user to buy a machine like this. I think it's in a lot of ways it's wasted on Linux. There's not a single game I can max out that, and that's all at 4K.
Yeah.
Like all the games in my Steam library that are high-end games, I installed them, set them all to max settings, and I think the games themselves are not technically capable of maxing out the hardware. The other workloads I put under it, like the light video editing I did, or the Lightworks editing we did for our Dell trip, the software is not sophisticated enough to tax it properly.
Right.
They don't properly utilize the hardware.
Isn't that a great place to be, though, where we have the hardware where we can grow as an operating system and as software projects?
Are you shitting me right now?
Well, I'm just asking. I mean, isn't that kind of a nice thing that we that the hardware is above?
Are you crazy?
That we're not reaching limits of hardware?
Are you crazy?
Maybe.
So that has got to be the biggest snow job on we are still not there yet. That's how I see it. See, that's the problem this is why I see it differently than you, because you see it in a view where there's time for it still to catch up.
I guess I don't have any. I don't share your same concern though, right? Like I'm able to get the things that I want to get done under Linux, so I'm not running into those software limitations, which is part of it. I'm not a gamer though. You know?
For me, it's like I'm getting See, the thing is there is software and hardware combinations out there today that you can buy that do fully take advantage of the hardware.
Right.
In a more competitive way. And I don't feel like the software on Linux, either it be Lightworks or it be video games, is optimized enough to take advantage of it. It's kind of unfortunate because we have a vendor now that's stepping up and willing to ship a $10,000 laptop, and we have vendors like System 76 that are willing to make something like the Galago Pro, which is like this ultra hip developer's laptop. And they're fine for running text editors and web browsers, but you got to go into like these crazy high-end workloads that are like industrial size that are way beyond anything that most people listening to this show could ever get involved
Fair
with.
about that though. That's who Dell built this for. That's why they're shipping this to the bunch of those scientific communities.
Yeah, it's interesting when you get so much hardware, you throw it at a problem, and then you look at it and you go, well, it's only using 2 cores at 60% on each core, and the GPU is barely being even pushed.
Yeah,
it's just disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, but it depends on. So I guess what I'm saying is it definitely depends on your workload because there's some workloads that are gonna push it.
So to wrap up the story, I have looked at every possible. I've looked at HP, I've looked at Dell, I've looked at Lenovo. I am searching for a laptop that has all of the specifications: 16 gigs or more memory, 1080p IPS display, a wired Ethernet port, backlit keyboard. That's and a 512 or bigger NVMe drive. The Lenovo is the only company that I found that. And I get this. The last conversation I had with them, and I was very upset, they said, well, sir, unfortunately, we're only going to be able to refund your money because our policy is after 3 replacements, we don't offer an additional replacement if it becomes misconfigured. And here's my answer to that.
They have a policy for misconfigured 3 replacements?
They have a policy. The fact that they have a policy of what to do after they send the wrong misconfigured computer to a customer more than 3 times is prima facie evidence that you have a larger systemic problem at your company that you need to fix.
Yeah.
This is not complicated. And here's the most mind-boggling thing to me, Chris. I ordered this computer originally on their site, so I specified all of the components. All they need to do is follow the directions that the automated build thing tells them to put together, which is probably a robot. How do you screw that up? My frustration level is so high. So later, Rakai and I, he is going to try and talk me into a Razer laptop. So we're going to go look at those, and we'll see if we at the Microsoft.
I think you're probably going to find that the Galago Pro would be a good machine for you. I know USB-C would be really nice for charging.
Yeah, exactly. That's the big thing, and again the Lenovo 270. I mean, USB-C charging, and it had the regular Lenovo thing, so I could use all my old cords, or I could use USB-C. I could dock with USB-C, or I could dock with the regular docking port. Lenovo, ship me a laptop that I ordered, and I'd be happy with it, but. Apparently, that's not a thing that they do.
Yeah. Yep.
I talked to other people that order Lenovo. I'm sorry. I talked to other people that order Lenovo laptops, and nobody is like shocked or surprised by this. They're like, "Yeah, that's about how it goes. Yeah, it's just you order laptops from Lenovo, and they come misconfigured a lot." I'm like, 3 times. I'm like, yeah, they're not really known for that. It's just cancel the order and then just place a new one, and the recounter starts over again.
I'm left with feeling a little weird as the Linux Action Show wraps. There's a bit of an irony in the studio.
In multiple ways.
Yeah, we are ironically finally going to have all the Macs out of the studio right after about the last week of the Linux Action Show. We'll be on anywhere we had Wirecast left. We'll be running OBS. What you got there, Noah?
This is the sticker that I put a couple years ago
above the door,
and I said I will stick this on the door when Jupiter Broadcasting Studios
and that is a sticker
are running
that says
Linux.
Noah switched me to Linux sticker.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I get to put this on the door before I leave here.
Yeah. So and then the Mac that runs some proprietary Apollo mixer, which I maintain is one of the best mixers in the business, but it does require a Mac, so we're going to be getting rid of it, and we'll be switching to a mixer that actually runs Linux itself. Ironically, as LAS wraps up.
Yeah, exactly.
But I thought I would use the opportunity of having this laptop to really go all in on Lightworks for a while and try that and see what there was to throw performance at it. And then I also, just because I wanted to have a completely balanced perspective, I wanted to compare that to Windows. So I loaded Lightworks on Windows and I loaded Premiere on Windows to kind of try to compare. Mm-hmm. And I think I walked away and I realized that the type of editing that I do with color graded 4K footage and whatnot is still, even with this amount of hardware, the software isn't properly taking advantage of the GPU, so it's still not there, which is just, it kills me to be replacing the Macs in this studio and thinking for editing, I still feel like it's about an 8-year regression in what I feel like has been progress in editing tools, it would be about an 8-year regression to go to edit on Linux right now.
Sure.
And I think that number is pretty solid. And that just is too much of a, even with $10,000 editing hardware, I just find that to be, it's shocking to me that even and what it gave me was, it gave me perspective in a way that I haven't had in a long time on people that listen to this show but still can't switch to Linux. Because I'm throwing, in theory, right? I didn't have to spend the money, but I have the opportunity to throw $10,000 worth of hardware at it. I can throw any distro I want. I can even try Windows, and I still found it to be inadequate.
You know,
But just one thing, and I walked away from that going, maybe there's just going to be some workloads that Linux will never be king of. Like it's going to destroy the mobile market. It's going to conquer the server industry. It's going to be great for a lot of us to use as our day-to-day driver on the desktop. It's just in everybody's toaster. But maybe there's some types of like workloads, because they require such tight control over the hardware, the software, and the drivers that run that hardware, that Linux is just inherently not capable of delivering that type of product. And when I had this hardware to just go all out and still wind up with, wow, I'm still slower and less capable, I felt like I had some empathy for people who don't want to switch.
Let me see if I can give you some encouraging thought perspective. So you have Dell that is they are ramping up Linux in a very serious way, like way more than we've seen before. It's no longer like 1 or 2 laptops. There are 4 different lines that are hardware enabled, right? I mean, it is incredible the amount of money and effort that they're putting into this, and so they are fully committed from the hardware perspective. And then on the other hand, you now have Canonical that is going to be working, essentially shipping the same desktop as Red Hat. You got those 2 people teaming up, and so the Linux desktop environment is going to get that much better, and software within it is going to get that much better and be available for users. And then you have EditShare in the UK, which is a major company that is making non-linear editor software, and those guys are trying to revamp and say, okay, we need to remodel from the ground up and come up with the workflow that works for people that have digital workflows. And you have all of these things coming together at one time together, and if even a couple of those things line up and fall together, I think we'd set up. I think we're set up to where what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of people that say, I need to jump off the Mac, because I didn't like the Apple hardware, which is another thing. You get people jumping off, they're looking where to jump, and all of a sudden, just like magically, the timing works out. We have a cohesive desktop environment. We have a hardware vendor, and now we have a video software vendor that are all just kind of saying we're ready to jump in right at the time that people are jumping up. I think there's a chance for this to work out.
I agree with you 100%, except for I completely disagree with you. So what I mean by that is you are absolutely right in the sense that eventually I think some new product, some new market, some new work case is going to come along. All those things are going to line up, and it's going to be perfect. And I think that's just almost bound to happen over time as all of these efforts sort of start to converge, because it's not just the fact that GTK and GNOME and Red Hat and SUSE and all these companies, Canonical, are working on this. It's also the fact that we have the most standardized Linux kernel shipping that we've ever had in a long time, because the distros are all kind of landing on the same. We have systemd throughout. We have a lot of things happening. We have Flatpak, we have snaps, like a lot of things are happening to smooth out a lot of that, to make it really ripe for some new work case to come along. The thing I think that I've realized about that particular argument is the reason why it never works for existing workloads that are like that maybe Adobe already owns or Apple already owns is those are not stagnant targets. Like while we're catching up and we're going to get there,
they're doing something else ahead.
And so like when I say EditShare is 8 years behind, they're 8 years behind while their competition is also still moving forward. And that's why I sometimes think, in your scenario, if I was buying into the future, I would agree with you. But because there's people that want to get work done today. I don't think it ever actually works out that way, because people just keep buying what's available today. They continue to make revenue. They continue to invest in their product, and that commercial product continues to be successful. And that's why GIMP hasn't replaced Photoshop. That's why Premiere hasn't been surpassed by Blender or Kdenlive, or After Effects hasn't been replaced by Blender.
Nitro.
All these things, right? You get my or Ardour with Audition.
Right. But I think what you're seeing is, I think that you're seeing less effort being put forward. I mean, Apple has put up a lot of roadblocks to creative content producers. It started with the Mac Pro in this trash can. You had to buy this extra capture thing, and if you look at it, in some ways, it is happening, right? Because if you look at things like OBS is very quickly becoming the de facto standard for broadcast in a lot of different places where it wasn't. And I think as we climb ahead in little areas, even if we stay stagnant in the others, I think over time, we'll eventually get good enough that you'll at least reduce that friction to the point that I think it may become possible for
OBS is a great example. I think very much so. I think the trash can has helped sort of make people look for other places, but I think the only place they've gone is Windows.
Yeah, right now.
And to Premiere and whatnot.
Yeah. I think Adobe. I think there's a chance Premiere may come over to Linux at some point.
God, I'll tell you what. Even if it's a few years, in my opinion, even if it's a few year reversion in workflow, I would for Premiere I would do it, because the other thing we don't ever talk about is Premiere, learning in Premiere is an employable skill. And if you can learn Premiere on Linux, then you can actually go out and get a job doing that, and that matters in a whole different way than we usually talk about.
But you look at Dell. We know from talking to the people at Dell that there are a lot of people that are in that hardware community that are trying to find software solutions to make their hardware platform
more valuable, because people need a reason to buy expensive hardware,
and they know that that they're not having a lot of success with that on Windows. And so as Dell is doubling down on Linux, I kind of wonder if something may not work out.
Well, I was reviewing some of our interview footage, like the interstitial stuff between the interviews, and a couple of times when we were doing the interview with the hardware folks, they're like, "So tell me about what you think Final Cut does better than Premiere.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think Premiere does better than Light.
Right.
Tell me why you like." They were fishing for that kind of stuff, trying to figure out what would it take to get this type of workflow onto Linux.
Right. So, and they have some clout too. It doesn't mean anything when you or I go to Adobe and say, "Would you port?" But if Dell goes to them and say, "Hey, listen, we want to strike a deal. You guys port the software over, and we'll ship these $10,000 laptops for video editing stations, give work deals out with universities for film labs and stuff like that." Boom! Now we're really moving places.
So what are you going to do? You're going to adopt the dongle lifestyle, or are you going to try to find a laptop with an Ethernet port?
So that's the thing. The thing is, as a company, I don't like Lenovo. I didn't really particularly care for them to begin with. Now I actively dislike them.
Yeah, well, I would imagine. That's annoying, dude.
And on that reason alone, I would really like to just buy an XPS and be done with it. I've done business with Dell for 10 years, and they've never burned me. I've been very happy with them. That said,
Calico has an Ethernet port.
It does, but it also has a barrel connector for the power.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
not.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm going to wait. Mostly, then the other part of me, and I know this is going to come a shock to you, Chris, as well as the entire community, but anytime somebody tries to tell me one thing, I'm going to try to fight the opposite, right?
Sure.
So and I know that's shocking.
Yeah,
I know. But
it's weird.
because they're telling me that they won't issue a fourth replacement, kind of want to make them issue a fourth replacement just because they said they wouldn't.
Yeah. I could see you pushing it. I could see you pushing it, because that is a good laptop for you with the I could see you making it work. Just call up, and you know what you do is have Sarah call up. They'd probably do it for her.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. She's not as patient as I am. She might get more upset with them than I would.
Well, my quest does not end, actually.
Yeah, mine either.
At this point, and I don't really know where I'll wind up. It's fun in some sense to try to figure it out, because I imagine there's other people out there in the industry that are trying to get this. So it's the hosts of Linux Action Show going through this in some way are valuable, because it gives us sort of perspective on other people that are trying to do this.
Right.
So I'm glad in some ways that we're doing it, but in other ways I'm like, I just want to get to work.
And I
feel like I haven't been able to edit since we got back from Dell, because I don't have a machine I want to edit on.
I'll say this too. I want to I guess express some empathy and some pity for some of our viewers out there, because the reality is that you and I are very blessed to have access to a lot of machines that that we can try and play and see how things work out, that other people that just not in they have no way to do that. So between the two of us, we have managed to go from everything from the entry level $200 HP all the way up to a $10,000 laptop, and just about every laptop in between, and see how things work out, and then be able to present that. So can you imagine doing this where you have maybe $1,000 to spend one time?
Yeah. That's why these little details, I think they really matter, and the little shortcomings and the little positives really matter too.
Yeah.
And that's why we try to cover it. But okay, that's the Linux Action Show's look at our woes and wins with recent Linux laptops.
I don't know about you, but I didn't really have any wins.
Well, the wins for me were was really the performance for this thing. It was just incredible, and everything else. It's sort of like you sit there and You look at it and you go, even Premiere, and in particular Adobe Media Encoder are not particularly as optimized as you would think they should be.
Yeah, for
Like-
a $10,000 laptop. Yeah.
Yeah, you would think like all my cores and my GPU would be totally ripped. GPU gets like pegged at like 30%, and I get 2 cores lit up. And I'm like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Now the nice thing about this laptop is it turbo boosts to 4 gigahertz, so
Yeah.
and it sustains it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that single core performance is pretty good.
And the IP heat profile is designed at 100%
Yes, yes.
nonstop. What's your battery at?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. 53%.
75, buddy. 75.
Mm-hmm. Is this feedback good?
I don't know. I don't know.
Some BSD question. It looks like I don't
remember.
really.
I don't remember. You don't like BSD? I switched to BSD.
Never heard of it.
If you switched to BSD like me, you would.
Actually, let's do the picks next.
Okay, let's do the picks.
Let's do the picks.
Oh no, yeah, we have to cover that. Yes, that is a good piece of feedback.
Okay.
You're just reading too briefly.
Okay.
You don't understand why it's so cool.
I saw BSD mentioned and I blacked out, so I
Yeah,
didn't.
it happens. Did you get triggered, bro?
Big time, dude. I need a safe space real quick. Do, 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 do. You're
Why
gonna-
do I? That's disconcerting.
What's the matter,
I'm
bro?
logged in as root to one of my servers, like just hanging out in here.
Good, dude.
Yeah, that's great.
Da 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 da. Counter attack.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Have you played it?
No.
It's cool. It's kind of like Race of the Sun. It's totally mindless, and you just get lost in it.
It
For
does
hours
look really
and
cool.
hours and hours and hours.
Looks like another one I've been playing.
Oh no way!
What?
Magic just bought That can't be right.
What? Magic Spot Vegas?
Yeah.
No.
God, what if Vegas came to Linux?
That would be great.
Oh my gosh.
Never even considered
They
it.
did.
I'd never even considered that. Oh, the problem is it's all written in VB, so they'd have to completely rewrite it.
Yeah, I guess, huh? Yeah, and really, it's not-
.NET, actually. Maybe it's written in .NET, actually. And then that might be actually possible. I'd run Mono for that. I'd run Mono for that.
Thanks for that. Who's Charlie Brown? Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. That's something I got to look into. That could be
Oh,
interesting.
shit. Look at me. I'm opening up. I open up tabs on whatever computer is directly in front of me, regardless of which one actually is on the live stream.
You know what's great about OBS? RTM streaming, baby. You could actually.
Yeah,
do
that would work, wouldn't it?
Mhm.
That would be really nice.
Mhm.
Too
That's
bad
how-
I'm not going
that's-
to be doing video anymore.
Oh yeah, that's how I did it in Grand Forks.
I'll name this computer Moab.
Moab, really?
I love it. Mother of all bombs.
Oh no, excuse me. The genderless parent of all bombs. Did you just assume the bomb's gender?
Well, I'm not the one that named it.
I don't care. It's genderless
Z.
parent of
Z.
all bombs.
Z of all bombs.
Yeah. So, you know what Netflix's introduction little jingle thing when it's yeah, right. So, did you ever notice in House of Cards, like his big thing was knocking his ring twice on the table? Yeah.
What's your point?
I just thought it was cool. Like the end of when he became president, then he did it like at the same like rhythmic pace as the Netflix introduction thing.
Oh, you think that was like a intentional?
I definitely think it was planned.
Interesting.
'Cause that-
I'd
yeah.
buy it. I could believe it.
Yeah, this wouldn't be a show that's probably up your alley. But have you heard of 13 Reasons? Netflix show. That's
Oh, I saw it.
Oh, you watched it really?
No, I
Oh,
saw the
you
icon on there.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. It does this thing where they go back in time. Like it's half of it takes place current time, half of it takes place back, but it's the same characters. And the way they differentiated that, which I thought was brilliant, was in like the very first episode, the character like falls off his bike and gets a gash on his head, and then he has to wear a Band-Aid. So you know if the Band-Aid's there, it's current time. If there's no Band-Aid, it's past time. It's like
Simple but effective.
yeah.
Okay. We are ready.
Are we, though?
I could say.
Are we though?
And now it's time for, and you can do the picks. You
Are
wanna
we
do that?
though? Are we ready?
What are we doing for lunch?
Ooh, Indian?
Well, you'd have to come up north.
I don't care.
I thought you and Beard were gonna make out. I mean, you could still come
But
down
I really want
afterwards.
Indian though.
Yeah,
So I
it's
kind of feel like
really good too. It's
they're open till 9:30. We can just go tonight.
oh okay.
I
Yeah.
want to go Indian.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's the Linux Action Show, and it begins right now. And by begins, I mean it's the pick segment. Beard in 3.
You have to,
In
you gotta I just feel like it's on the wrong shot.
I haven't started yet.
Oh.
I was about to
Well,
start.
you were counting down.
Yeah. And then I
But
was gonna
usually
switch
when-
to my shot, and I was going to say, and now it's time for, and then I was going to do,
Oh, because usually,
usually we're not in studio together.
that is true.
All right. Okay. All right, here we go. In a 3, in a 2. And now it's time for,
The news. It's not the news.
how did that happen? How did we just have a,
I don't know.
did I just witness a glitch in the Matrix? All right, here we go.
Yeah.
In 3,
It is green.
in 2. And now it's time for,
The picks.
that's right. We've been waiting all episode to tell you it runs Linux. You're going to love this one, Noah. This cloud-enabled Wi-Fi router runs Linux.
Go ahead, Cloud Connected Chris. Tell me what this Cloud Connected router running cloud stuff.
It
cloudy,
runs
cloudifies.
Debian Linux, and it has just recently added very nice and very robust VPN support. So how about that? I know you like robust VPN support. It's a Rokos. It's R-O-O. No, I'm sorry, single O. R-O-K-O-S.
Isn't it GOS?
I need you.
QoS? Okay. All right.
I need you to look at that right there. See that right there?
Yeah.
R, I need you to read that. What's it say? What's that? Is
I
that a
don't
G or an R? Right
Okay.
there.
All right. Okay.
Right there.
All right.
Right there.
Okay. It's not touchscreen, just so you know.
Is it a G or an R?
I think it's.
I think it's an R.
I think it's probably an R.
Rokos Core. It's a pretty fancy little like consumer type deal. It's got a gigabit hub built into the son of a gun.
Dude, there's no R in there. Seriously, I'm agreeing with you because I'm afraid to. Like, but
look.
there's
look,
no R. There's
look right there. R-O-K-O-S.
that's not a. That's a Q.
Oh yeah, cute. Yeah,
I thought
sorry.
that's what you were saying.
But
yeah,
you
okay.
said G. Welcome to
Doesn't matter how you say it.
Welcome to the Dyslexia Action Show, where we attempt to read instead of cover news. This is why we had to shut it down, because we could never figure out, we could never learn how to read.
I was thinking it was because there was too much cloud.
It was way too much cloud. So it's an Android device that runs Debian, they say. No, actually, it supports Android devices and iOS devices to manage it. It's got dynamic DNS, so that way if your ISP be changing your IP, it'll handle that. 4 gigabit Ethernet ports, as well as USB 3 and an HDMI port. It also offers Wi-Fi.
What in the world do you need an HDMI port for in your router?
Think about it, dude. Maybe it could also be a little media set-top box or something. It's got a 1 gigabyte Debian Linux stack on it, so you got room to put Kodi on there. I mean, OVS, and includes packages like MondoDB, obviously Squid, Bind, Nginx, IPperf, and your favorite, OpenVPN. So people that are worried about like their ISP selling their information and stuff. So with the cloud, so you're probably wondering, hey, Chris, what does the cloud stuff do? Yeah. Well, you can do things like limit kids' internet usage time. You get reporting features. You can set up your VPN stuff real easy peasy. You pay $89 for activation plus 17 monthly service for 12 months. Or you can just purchase the device outright.
So not only is it a cloud, it's a cloud subscription service.
Yeah,
for my
yeah,
router.
right, yeah. But they will do, they'll let you set parental controls. They'll do regular old updates, good old-fashioned updates for you, and all that kind of stuff. And you can manage it from an app, Noah, from an app.
In my day, son, we had a console port with an RS-232 DB9 connector, and you plug that in, and you set the baud rate, and you did your configuration from a terminal. And if the cable came out, then you plugged it back in, because it was just a serial string.
I'm just not.
No, we used to call the Intel Atom chip Mattel inside, and I wouldn't be caught dead with an Intel on my edge.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm just not. I'm not.
Yeah,
just
you're not buying
the
it.
cloud. Yeah, just.
It's weird. It's like I thought maybe you'd have a different reaction
no,
somehow.
No,
I thought
my
maybe,
reaction to the cloud is always.
I thought maybe
the same.
the HDMI port would push it over for you. I thought maybe the $20 a month service would do it for you. I thought that'd surely get you excited.
That's it gets me excited. All right, just you know.
It's got-
In the I want to strangle the people that made this kind of.
It also has a random SATA port on it, just right there. You see that?
That's good.
Yes,
That's good.
so that
Hey,
way-
you know, one thing I really like about my Edge device that's responsible for the security of my entire network is
random SATA
ability
ports,
to
yeah.
put data in and out
Sure.
of the device. Look,
Well, you might
that's
want to put
great.
Kodi on it.
Oh yeah, that's what I want on my Edge device.
Yeah,
Is Kodi. Yes.
yeah. Or maybe actually save some time and put Plex on there.
Let me
Pro
tell you
tip.
what doesn't save some time.
What's that?
Counterattack. Have you heard of this?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So
is
you
this,
remember-
Is this one of them video games?
You remember Race the Sun, right?
Yeah, of course I
Now,
do.
Race the
I'm a fan of Race the Sun.
Race the Sun is a great program for just, I want to have mindless entertainment. I want to sit down and I want to think about nothing and just play. That's what Race the Sun is. Counterattack, very much the same thing. It is a completely mindless side scroller
Space shooter.
space shooter. You go and you shoot things. Did you ever play Math Blaster back in the day?
Yeah.
Math Blaster. It reminds me a lot of Math Blaster.
Yeah,
You
okay.
just go and you shoot these little things as
Up
they
to
come towards you.
8-player online co-op.
Yeah, that's great.
Whoa, that's kind of cool. This reminds me of an old like Super NES or NES style game if it had modern graphics. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, and if you don't play on the cloud, then there's no cloud required. You can just play the game.
Oh, you're doing the cloud. You're doing the cloud thing again. You're doing the cloud thing again. So that's Counterattack. It's in the Steam store. Came out about a year ago. It's $8, so that's not bad. I thought maybe I had to solve a problem.
Okay.
I had to solve. Legit solve a problem. I had to solve Steam on 4K. On this 17-inch screen on a 4K display, Steam is itty bitty tiny, which in some ways is actually really nice because I can just put it like in a small spot on my screen. It doesn't take up a whole. I kind of like that. I actually kind of like it being all scaled down, but you can't read jack. So there is a theme that I have linked in the show notes, and it doesn't do much, but it does give everything a slightly larger font size. The menus, the store text, everything, your library text. So it's a little easier to read the names of things, and it's not very hard to install it.
Do you know what I did with this beautiful, crisp 4K display that Dell is loading me? I changed the resolution to 1080p. I did, and the thing is, there's a lot of people, yourself included, even myself, that said you can't set the resolution down anymore; it'll become all fuzzy. It actually, if I told you,
I would not have known.
If I told you this is a 1080p display, you'd go, "Oh, it's a 1080p display."
It looks like it's running at native resolution. Whatever black magic they did to make that happen. Because when I try to set this thing to a lower resolution, I get bars on the side of my screen.
Yeah,
I get native res or nothing.
I'm a real fan of 1080p, and the real thing is even if everything was perfectly optimized for 4K, I don't personally believe that 4K belongs on a 13-inch display. I think that the resolution to screen ratio on a 13-inch is too much. And
What you need, brah, is you just need everything pixel doubled on a 13-inch, and it looks good. It looks real good, brah. Have you seen Ubuntu Mate has high DPI screenshots?
Yeah, but there are certain applications that won't respect that. So like my Simple Help Technician console, because it's a Java app.
Oh, come on. You're coming at me with this.
I'm just telling you, man. This is
how are you going to run that on Wayland, too? That's probably going to work great on Wayland.
Probably is.
You just enjoy that.
Hey, should we try it?
Yeah, we could. It's got Intel graphics.
I think we should try it.
We could try it. We could give it we should find out. At some point it's going to matter what apps don't work anymore under that kind of stuff. It's going to matter. All right. So, you know what else matters? The cloud. Turns out it does matter. Despite what Noah tells you, there's only one way to make it better. And I think Noah would agree on this. Roll it on your own, under your own control, on your own terms, on a great infrastructure.
That's right.
DigitalOcean. Go over to DigitalOcean.com and sign up. And when you sign up, apply our promo code, here's the thing, all one word, and you'll get a $10 credit. They have a great infrastructure. It's all Linux-based.
Nice.
They're using KVM, the one true virtualizer hypervisor.
The one true virtualizer.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Just saying. I mean, you could use Hyper-V, I guess. They got SSDs for all of the storage, including the block storage, which you can attach from 1 terabyte up to 16 terabytes. 1 gigabyte. They have machines that run from 512 megs of RAM up to 220-something gigs of RAM. It's such a slick system, and they wrap it all up with this really nice interface. They really went all out with this. I don't really think there's many other people that have ever been able to compete. And I'm talking like after years and years and years and years and years of virtualization being a thing, nobody got this right. One of the new features they've rolled out, and you can learn more about it at their site, is monitoring. Huge. This makes a 1-person shop or a 10-person shop or a 100-person shop able to stay on top of a tiny infrastructure or a massive infrastructure. You can get drop performance stats. You can receive alerts when there's problems. You can stay ahead of things if you have clients on here. Noah sitting here has his clients on DigitalOcean as back-end infrastructure from time to time.
I do.
This is absolutely something that Altispeed could take advantage of to see when client systems go on offline. This is something we could use to see when one of the SATCOM servers is being pushed to capacity. And it's just integrated right in with the DigitalOcean interface. It's so slick. It's like the CDN. It's like the high memory stuff, the block storage, everything they do.
I was going to save this for another week, but would you like a bonus app pick?
Yeah, sure.
Would you? All right. So one of the issues that you have is what happens, Chris? What do you do if you want to deploy a bunch of things on a DigitalOcean droplet very, very quickly? Like you wanted to do like the same thing over 10, or maybe you have a client, maybe you work for Altispeed
And I'm
Technologies.
not using the API? Am I doing it in the web UI? Or
You want to use the API,
Oh, okay.
but let's say you want to.
Because that's how I would do it.
Yeah, let's say you want to set up a.
Do you have like script foo to make that happen?
I have something better. Let's say you wanted to set up let's say you wanted to set something up in such a way where
I'm so excited
because we do the same thing for one customer and then another customer and then another customer. I just want to tell my employees to log into a web console, click a button, and it will automatically provision maybe 10 DigitalOcean
You just
droplets.
pasted a YouTube video in the chat room.
Is that what that is?
You pasted
is that a YouTube video?
Yeah,
Because here's the thing. See, when I right click on this stuff, I
and you
expected
say
it.
copy link.
Yeah, and then that's supposed to paste that.
There you
we
go. Oh, I know about this
So
actually.
welcome to Commando.io.
Oh!
And what Commando.io
Yeah, dude.
is for, I think, $5 a month. You can log in and you can add your DigitalOcean droplets to this service. And basically, it is complete management, command execution history, tracking, logging. All of this stuff is built into. It's like a dashboard for DigitalOcean's dashboard. It's like they've taken what DigitalOcean had that was great, took their API, and made it even better. And so what we're using this for at UltraSpeed is we have
Works across other providers too.
I'd say once a week, somebody emails us and they'll say, what does it cost to get Nextcloud set up, right? And I send them the price. And here's what happened to me. And I can go back and show you some of these emails. It's kind of funny. Oftentimes, I either won't hear back from people for a couple weeks, or if I do hear back from them, they'll say, really, that seems kind of expensive. And then they go sit down and try and do it themselves, and they go, oh, yeah, that's actually pretty reasonable. But what we've done now is we've gotten to a point where we are able to use this Commando.io and just have a setup thing where we can go through and get it kind of roughly set up, and then we just go back and kind of tweak it. It works, to the best of my knowledge, with DigitalOcean as well as other providers too. So if you have a couple other ones that you want to stick in there, that works.
Command.io. Nice.
Came from the beard.
Yeah, that API. That's really once you get pro level with DigitalOcean. But you can start. They got great documentation too. Total beginners or pros. It's going to work for you, or in a team too.
Popey's calling me out. Can you guess what his question is?
What's that?
So right after I get done ragging on cloud, then I just recommended a cloud service.
Oh, we all noticed.
Cloud service.
We all noticed. We all noticed. DigitalOcean.com, use promo code. Here's the thing. Noah.
Yes, sir.
Noah. No, I got lots of picks for you
Topher.
over at the JupiterBroadcasting.com/lastpicks, and I think we'll leave all of those up for a while.
Okay.
After we
I think they should be
wrap up the show. So we have I thought maybe we'd do like a little bit of updates on the Linux Action News show that we're doing. Some updates on Ask Noah, plus some feedback. So are you ready? Are you ready to do all that?
I'm ready to do all that.
All right, let's go do the feedback.
Ah, my nose is itchy like crazy. Okay, there we go.
So let's do our updates. Then we'll do the System 76 spot, and then we'll do the email, and then we'll go.
Okay.
And then
all
we'll
right.
go.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that Indian food, I'm excited. Hidea's totally going to want to go, though, so we'll have to totally let her know, because
that's
otherwise she's going to fucking kill us. No, she'll be fine, but she'll be disappointed. That naan is so good.
Do they have ginger nut? What is with these? Why are you putting individual? What I don't.
Careful, it's a good way to get auto kicked. We don't even push the button; it just happens. I'm gonna go grab a water and then I'll be ready.
Okay, I'll just wait here.
Yeah, just wait right there.
You know what's kind of cool having the mat where it is? The front wheels
Yeah.
fall off. That's
Yeah.
okay
But it
though
locks
because
you in spot.
yeah, exactly. So I can kind of rest against the table then. Oh, yeah, that happens to me too. You know what else happens too, but it's not here because I don't have it on me, but I'll accidentally bump my YubiKey. It's a good time. So let's see if I remember my button. Is this my button? Nope. I found my button. Do 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 do. Oh, that didn't work. Whoa. Those buttons are confusing. Well, I every time you step out of the room, I do sneaky and crazy things, and this time it bit me. Okay, all right, let's have this conversation. All right, hold on. E7420. So I like it off the bat because I feel like it'll come with an eDock. So let me look at this. Let me look. Just calm down. Let me look. Just relax. Let me look. Okay. No, 14-inch. It's no good. It won't fit in any of my cases. No, it has to be 13-inch. Has to be 13-inch. Violence is never.
I should have said that differently because I'm gonna get
What'd you say? What'd you say wrong?
I'm gonna get so much crap for saying there aren't enough workloads to push hardware like this. People say, "Oh, the Pixar," but because what I should have said is there's not enough relevant workloads to me, or something.
That's true. That would be better.
But to back up my position, I did distinctly get the impression that Dell was very interested in finding more workloads. Like Dell, I think, is the opinion there's not enough workloads.
Well, and here's the other thing too. We did talk about like in the scientific community and stuff like that. There are specialized stuff exists. We said that.
That doesn't matter. People still pick it apart.
That's probably true. But you know what my mother always told me? What? Don't worry about what people on the internet say about you.
That's your mother's very wise.
I don't think she ever said that. But I'm sure if she thought about it, that's what she'd probably say. Do. So, Hadia says she is at a birthday party today.
Oh, that's right. Crap.
You want to do dinner then instead?
Well, I mean, does she mind if we go without her? Probably.
She says 4 would work for her. It's 2:40.
Yeah, it might work.
Yeah, it's 1:40. So it's almost 2 now. So that's only 2 hours. By the time we get done, get off the air,
And do
we
the
can
la-
set up
do the doc.
we can set up
Set up what?
the thingy.
What thing?
What doc?
This show doc?
Oh yeah, that doc. Yeah.
What thing are we doing?
The Ask Noah thing, the mixer thing. If you feel
Oh,
like
yeah,
doing
we
that.
could.
Maybe you want to do that later.
I'm ready.
Okay, all right.
So this is the feedback segment.
Feedback.
This is the feedback
This is
segment.
where people give us back.
We're going to start
of our
with
feeds.
follow up on Ask Noah. Do you have anything to add?
Is the feed?
Any more people to call in?
Sure.
Um,
Is just out of curiosity, is the feedback, is it fed with RSS?
Perhaps.
TIL.
And we are going to, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do.
Did I tell you every time I announce Ask Noah, I do it in a different time zone just to screw with people?
Nice, dude.
Yep.
Good thinking.
If I announce it in one time zone, I started just doing Pacific because I figured all the rest of the JB shows are in Pacific. I should just announce it Pacific. Then I got a bunch of people. They're like, "Why do you announce it in Pacific time? I listen over the radio station. I don't hear it in Pacific." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll do it in Pacific and Central." Then I got, "Why do you do it? You should do it in Pacific and Eastern. Everyone can figure out what's." And I just do it in all of them. I'm like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is definitely an engineering tool. This is what it's built for people. I was hoping, so the way to say this, and this is probably something, Ricky, maybe you could put this in the outtakes. This is something I'm going to get a ton of shit for, I'm sure.
Tons.
I really think the way to state it is there is a huge market for a very powerful machine running Linux, like engineering, scientific, and certain types of high-end industrial graphics. What I was hoping for is that some of the applications I use, like video editing, compression,
Consumer
transcoding,
stuff.
consumer stuff and prosumer stuff. I mean, it's not average people that are probably importing 4K footage and trying to transcode it to ProRes.
Right.
I was hoping for improvements there, and I found really minimal. The really improvements you get were fast disks and the fact that this thing can turbo boost to 4.2 gigahertz and hold it. For single-threaded applications, that's really nice. But you don't have to go with a specific configuration to get that. I do think the 3 drives makes it nice for storage, but yeah, I would love to have seen more of the median workload applications and games that are available for Linux be able to take better advantage of it. And I'm sure with Vulkan and future applications, it'll get there. There you go. That's probably a different way to say it, because I think a lot of people are taking it as, I don't want to give a fuck actually. All right, moving on.
Time for feedback.
Yes. All right. And that brings us to the end of this week's broadcast. And before we go, we want to give you a few updates, cover some emails that came in, and all of that stuff. So let's start with the Linux Action News Show. That's the new name, is Linux Action News. LAN. I like that acronym.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. And we have a website. It's very, very early days. It's just a placeholder right now, linuxactionnews.com. Of course, it'll also be published at jupiterbroadcasting.com.
You have to promise me to call meetups LAN parties.
Dude, that's brilliant. We will.
You
That's a
have to-
great
you have to
idea.
call 'em LAN parties.
That's a great idea. The RSS feed is up right now at linuxactionnews.com if you want to grab it, and there will be more posted there as it gets closer, probably coming soon. We have a rough release date planned now, and we have all that kind of stuff lined up. So how's Ask Noah going?
It's good. So we have 3 episodes on the books.
It's not 4?
No, it's 3. Yeah, we have three episodes on the books.
And the
we're-
fourth one will be here in the studio.
Fourth one will
Yeah,
be here in the
that's right,
studio
yeah.
tomorrow. So again, if you guys have technology questions or you want to discuss your opinions on technology questions, give us a call toll free. You can call from any country. I've gotten that question a lot. 1-855-450-NOAH. That's 6624.
1-855
450
450
6624. Yeah. And or 1-855-450-NOAH. Yeah, there you go. Live times are, it's 6 p.m. Central. That's 4 p.m. Or no, what is it? I'm all screwed now. It's 6 p.m. Central. That's 4 p.m. Pacific. That's 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
But you could just go to jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar and have that all sorted out for you.
Yeah.
So
we
we're
got
gonna
a good flow of people that are mailing in questions and telegramming in questions.
Yep, would like-
be good though to get more calls coming in.
We'd like to get some more calls, and you have an opportunity because it's going to be like an Ask Noah marathon. So we're doing an episode tomorrow. We'll be doing an episode the following Monday, and then we'll be doing an episode live from Linux Fest Northwest. So it'll be like an Ask Noah sandwich.
That's gonna
the
be
next
cool.
week, yeah.
Yeah. Linux Fest Northwest is coming up May 6th and 7th.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be live there doing the last episode of Linux Action Show, a live Ask Noah, and I think we'll be doing some other things that we'll tell you more about as that gets closer. So if you're gonna be in the area, I'd love to say hi.
So I'll give you a sneak peek tomorrow. You know what we're talking about? Ryzen and VPSs.
Whoa!
Yeah, so it should be a good show.
Yeah, Ryzen's probably a much requested topic.
It's Ryzen, for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh my gosh, I see what you did there. You can send your questions into this show while it's still on the air. Go to jupiterbroadcasting.com/contact and choose Linux Action Show from the drop-down. Also, User Air's out there too. You can grab the User Air feed. That'll be another show that's replacing the Linux Action Show, and you can subscribe to that. So all of the replacement shows, quote-unquote, replacements, if that's a fair term, I don't know, User Air, Ask Noah, and Linux Action News all have RSS feeds you can go subscribe to now.
Here's if you haven't listened to User Error, or even if you did and you didn't like it, now is the time to go back and listen to it, because the next episode that we do, I have from the way that we're talking about it, I feel like it's going to be one of the best episodes of User Error
Maybe.
ever.
We got a lot of pent-up User Air topics.
Yeah.
We got a lot
Yeah.
to choose from.
And we got a lot of really cool things that might be happening outside of that. So if you haven't listened to it before, now's the time to get started. If you have listened to it, it wasn't quite for you, give us one more shot. Check out the next episode that's going to come out, I would imagine sometime during the next couple weeks, right?
Soonish, yeah. I mean, right now I want to put all of our thoughts and energy into the last couple episodes of Last and Linux Fest, because just that is a huge undertaking, just Linux Fest. So we don't have anything, we're not making any major plans for Last, because we just really want to focus on having a great time at Linux Fest and really enjoying our last Linux Fest.
Right.
That's kind of our plan right now.
Yeah.
But I think with all of the folks we're going to have around and all of the people we have kicking around ideas, we'll probably, I would imagine it's going to be pretty much, I would love to have it the next week after Last. Just
Yeah.
the User Air.
I don't know when it gets released, but I'm just saying something I would imagine.
Oh,
would
in
get
the next
produced.
couple of weeks, absolutely gets recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the one you want to hear.
So much good stuff we're working on. You can find out live times, like Noah said, at jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar. You can follow the network for announcements and news and show releases at Jupiter Signal. I'm at Chris LAS.
No. We got a couple more things. So the
we have the
feeds are going to be changing from the HD
you're
feed.
right.
Yeah, the RSS feed is going to go purely HD. So that's something they need to be aware of.
Yeah, and so that's boy, we probably should have even mentioned that sooner in the show. If you subscribe to the All Shows feed, video feed, all of that stuff's going to switch over to 720p. It's going to be well encoded, so it's not like it's going to be huge files. We've been working on that. And so we're going to drop the 360p video from the All Shows feed. And so the other shows you subscribe to that have video, yeah. In fact, we probably should also do some emails and all that
sure.
kind of stuff. But I'm at Chris LAS.
I'm
He's
at Colonel Linux.
and you can follow Ask Noah.
Ask Noah Show.
And I think there will be, it's not really configured yet, but there will be an at Linux Action News Twitter account too.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we, before we get into the email, let's thank System76 because we were talking a little bit earlier about the Galago Pro. Well, that's up for pre-order right now. You can save $50. Go to System76.com. They have the Oryx Pro with GTX 10 series dedicated graphics in it. What a monster. And of course, some beautifully built desktops with lots of headroom and performance. Go to System76.com. Get a machine designed, built, created, born to run Linux. And then when you check out, tell them that Noah switched you to Linux. They've also got servers, which I think is probably one of the things that you land on once you've realized they make incredible great desktops and workstations and laptops. And then you're like, well, let's just go System76, all the things. That's what I would suspect, because once you get hooked, I've been a customer for more than 10 years. System76.com. Go there. Did they update the Meerkat? They did. It's a new model of the Meerkat. Look at that.
That's nice.
That's really nice.
That's really nice.
With a 7th gen Intel.
I would totally use that.
Whew! That is a slick little. See, we should.
Did you know the Meerkat is what Carl uses?
Yeah, I did know that. I did. I saw it on his
CEO
desk.
of the company, choice of any computer that they want, of any machine they make, and that's what he uses.
It's a perfectly reasonable machine, actually. It's kind of amazing, especially if you can get into an eGPU. But that is a topic for a future show. System76.com. Go there, check them out. If you get a rig, tell them that Noah switched you to Linux. Now there was some BSD question we had.
No, it's not a BSD question. So while you were gallivanting around the nation, and
Oh, yeah.
then you
The nation.
and you left Alan and I to do your work. We got into an interesting discussion.
Oh, that sounds unusual.
And it went something like this. Alan said, "What does Linux do when you run out of letters for the drive? Like, does it just double up, or does it not know what to do and just does not recognize those drives, or does Linux just suck so much that nothing works at all and you'll have to install BSD?" And somebody wrote in and they have an answer to that. And so they sent us a screenshot, which I'm going to paste here in the chat room because there's no other good way to get
Unbelievable,
Chris.
Noah. Unbelievable.
No other way to get Chris a good link to be able to put
Can't
up on the
even
screen.
believe you.
But what this is what happens when you exceed the 26 26 limit drive.
Okay.
It starts to actually, yes, it doubles up the letters. So you get SDAA, SDA,
Yeah. Yep.
AB, whatever.
Yep.
And so
SDABC, SDAC, yeah, SDAD, SDAE. Cool. So there you go. Why does he have that many drives? Did he say?
No, he did. He just
That
said.
feels like the important part of the email. That
Oh,
he
I
left
think it's
out.
important. He says I'm a BSD user. My company uses Linux.
A frowny face. Love it. He's got a frowny face for using Linux.
Of course he does. Attaches the output of dev SD star for a Linux server with 57 drives. So I would imagine it's probably a pretty important server if it's got 57 drives.
Yeah. And it makes him sad that it's running Linux. It makes him sad.
I know.
Wow. Well,
Us BSD users
Baggio,
love Linux.
thank you for letting us know. I thought I had seen that before.
Yeah. I haven't. I've never gone over 26 drives.
I could see it if you had like a bunch of virtual disks too or something like that.
Oh,
It'd be
yeah,
pretty good. It'd be easy to pop that. All right, there you go. And you can send us your questions at the contact page or just email us directly, linuxactionshow@reddit.com. All right, is that everything we've got for today's episode?
Now you are free to dismiss the show.
All right, get us out of here. That brings us to the end of this week's episode of the Linux Action Show. It's time for us to go get Indian food. We have one more episode in studio. That'll be next week, and then we'll see you live from Linux Fest Northwest. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you right back here next week.
So one thing I do that Sarah says drives her nuts is when I do intros she says I do too much of showy thing. So now I'm self-conscious about dragging out the word live. Live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's fun though. Right? It's fun.
Here's what it is. That's the way everyone else does it, so that's the way that I do it.
Yeah. Adopt a dongle. It makes it sound like it's important. And it is a lot of effort.
Okay. So what's your fiance telling me now?
Linux Laptop Showdown. That's not bad.
It takes me an hour and a half to get to Burlington. I don't want to bail on Carol. She invited her entire family.
The 10K laptop. That's not bad.
Well, I try to not.
We are going to be ripping the studio apart this week and next
It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. Here's the
I got to
thing we
vlog the whole
have
thing.
to
I got
remember
to
to do.
get the Del Trip edited so I can vlog the whole thing.
That too. The other thing we have to remember to do, we have to take a before and after picture. to. I always get mad when I do projects around the house and I'm like, this looks amazing. And it looked worse before, except I didn't take a picture. So you don't know how bad it looked before.
Dude, we stole a Dell. I think we kind of used
did
that already,
We
though.
overuse that probably at this point.
Yeah. Linux Laptop Showdown and Adopt a Dongle are... I like Adopt a Dongle.
You adopt a dongle to connect you to the cloud, right? That rings to you, I bet. Bet you're like, oh, that's great. It's all the things Noah hates.
I'm sorry, what was that? Command-IO? I'm sorry, Command-IO. I can't hear you through my cloud sitting on top of my cloud using an API to connect to an API. What was that? Couldn't hear you.
Remind me again how these lights came out in here?
JBTitles.com, JBTitles.com.
Linux Laptop Showdown isn't bad. We did talk about a lot of...
Yeah, I feel like people are done with that, though.
that's probably true.
Adopt a Dongle's funnier.
Okay, adopt a dongle. If it didn't have dongle in the word, I'd be all over it just because it's catchy. So, I guess I'll put aside my... Oh my god. I'm just looking at the instructions necessary to get this shuttle thing to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's fine. They're all there. Just monkey see, monkey do, right? How bad could it be?
It probably doesn't work under Arch. So Linux Laptop Showdown
Source code. I think it compiles an Arch.
has 7 boats. Adopt a Dongle has 6 boats. It's a really contentious race.
Jesus Christ, dude.
It's just contentious. What's that?
Contentious. That's a lot of hard drives.
Contentious.
That's what it is. There are 300 drives in that sucker.
I just can't.
I'm not going to dignify that with an answer.
That was good. It took a second, but it was worth it. It was totally worth it.
Don't tempt me. I'll get the woman in the tube to shut the whole place down.
We could. Yeah, we could. Alexa, turn off JB1. There we go. There you go.
Okay. Okay.
So-
she's so happy. Okay.
Yeah.
This is cool. We should have done a show like this.
That is cool, isn't it?
This is pretty
Here, let
cool.
me turn up the backlighting here on the Dell. Let's see, where is it? Where is the backlighting?
Oh, I have a backlight because
There we go.
I have my
There we go.
backlight.
So now I got better lighting.
There
we go.
I got better. Oh, jeez. Holy cow. Yeah. Here, wait. I'll one up you.
Yeah.
If I can. No, I can't.
No. Just got to hold it closer to your
There we
face. All right, so are we going to go with Adopt a Dongle now that it has
Adopt a
12
Dongle,
votes?
that's
Look
what
how
she-
good that font looks at high
looks-
DPI, though. Look
That
how
looks
good.
amazing.
It does look really good,
Looks
dude.
really, really
Dude,
good.
it looks really
I
good.
really like
It looks
it.
super good.
I think it's the best looking.
So good.
It's the best fonts.
It's the greatest fonts. People tell me.
Truly fantastic fonts.
We've really had the best people work on these fonts. All right, here we go. It's time for us to ga. No, it's
Yeah,
time for us to
all
ga.
right. Does that mean all those people have to go away now?
So join us tomorrow. We'll have, I think, Coda Radio. I'm not actually sure. Mike's traveling, so I'm not sure. And then we have, of course, Ask Noah, where he'll fix this blue screen of death. Now count the chat room to see how many people think it's real. All right, thanks for being here, guys. See you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your weekend. # we love you.